pair of jeans, a shirt or two. We didn't pack as if we weren't going back. It doesn't matter if it's true. I've got a feeling love will give us what we lack. The world is waiting up. The world is waiting half a step beyond our door. Yeah. And if it's not enough, I wanna see the stuff the world has got in store. I wanna take it all in, I'm falling. The cityscape by night, wanna catch in my photos. Where you go, every corner twice as bright. They'll be my treasures forever. When I can't hold you tight, I'll see the Stockholm lights. The Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights. Tomorrow feels a year away, like the seconds, the beginning and the end. But if in time it's yesterday, your picture's gonna bring it home to me again. The world is waiting up. The world is waiting half a step beyond our door. And if it's not enough, I wanna see the stuff the world has got in store. I wanna take it all in, I'm falling. The cityscape by night, wanna catch in my photos. Where you go, every corner twice as bright. They'll be my treasures forever. When I can't hold you tight, I'll see the Stockholm lights. The Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights.
Empty hearts and neon lights, they're playing with my mind. Gotta get out of here tonight. Oh, I wanna run off and fly. And I'll tell myself it's fine to be alone, just to find somewhere that finally feels like home. Oh, oh, oh. I hate all this overthinking. Oh, 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 oh. The more I swim, the more I'm sinking. Take me to a world of silver. No more heartbreaks, tears, painkillers. Take me somewhere unfamiliar. Bring me back to where we started out. Get me out of now. To where we started out. Get me out of now. To where we started out. La 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 la, oh oh. Get me out of broken hearts and starting fights, turning truth to lies. Gotta get up, stop wasting time. Yeah, I wanna run off and fly. And I'll tell myself it's fine to be alone, just to find somewhere that finally feels like home. Oh, oh, oh. I hate all this overthinking. Oh, oh, oh,
Welcome everybody to some midday SLE. This might be the earliest SLE game we've had, at least in my recollection, for a while. It is Guqiang versus Black Lotus Esports. I am Dessa, and I am being joined by the wonderful Mr. Sandbag himself, with the wrong icon, but it is him nonetheless. Sandbag, how are you doing, man?
I am doing fantastic. Finally freed from NA jail, watching the World Series here on the SLEs for the step up in game quality and production. I'm ready to go, man.
For sure. I mean, I would imagine this would be a step up from NA. Of course, we did just have Worlds playing, complete themselves. So, T1 finally making it to Worlds finals. potentially taking it. We'll see. But for now, it is gonna be our first series of the day. Of course, later on we have another series as well. But for now, we're gonna be focusing on Black Lotus Esports versus Guqiang. Of course, last week Guqiang went up against their sister team in the last week of the regular standings and ended up being 1-1. Same thing with Black Lotus Esports, ended up going against Wacky Raids and ended their week 1-1 as well. So definitely an interesting competition and gotta be, in my opinion, an even competition as well. But how do you think, considering now that Worlds is in full array, do you think generally you've seen an impact from Worlds where you cast, or do you feel like H League has their own mini meta sort of sandbag?
I mean, I feel like everyone does look to that upper echelon and takes note of, okay, we're playing Heimerdinger now. I see some Heimerdinger cropping up. Oh, we're playing the double marksman bot. Okay, we're playing a little bit of that. But I have always been such a big proponent of whatever style got you in to the place you are now, stick with it, right? If you are a psycho top lane team like BLG and you want to just play carry tops, play utility down the bot lane. If you want to just hard focus, raise the puppy, play your style. And so these two teams looking to continue theirs, don't get swayed just because LS said it was good, or I saw it at Worlds, guys. Just playing their style is always what I like to see. And to be fair, the SLE is one of the more reliable in terms of that. We are dying on the kind of utility bot lane hill, and we are just playing utility bot lanes. Doesn't matter if it's good, it's bad, it's whatever. We make it work. So I'm looking to see what they have coming forwards into this.
Yeah, definitely. So of course, so far no Ash supports quite yet, but there are a lot of champions, like you said it yourself, that sort of have made it into the SLE mini meta. Some things that we've seen, for example, being very prevalent has been the Cassante. Of course, yesterday we did see the Beast Team Esports team unfortunately did get knocked out, so we did say our goodbyes to them. But for now, I am expecting, and some obvious picks I feel like that might be coming through are the Cassante. I know Ruzu in the top lane for the side of Guqiang is very comfortable on the champion. It is something that he does tend to lock in, and I'm expecting for it to either be pick or ban into the series, especially with the sort of style that Kisante is now and how unbalanced he tends to be nowadays, especially with the recent buffs he got. But definitely could lean towards that. It does mean you get to play a little bit something more aggressive down in the bot lane with how safe Kisante tends to be.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to invest in him, right? It's the idea of some champs are strong because they can pay it forwards. Some champs are strong because, hey, Malphite, go down 30 CS. I'll see you in 20 minutes, bud. And Cassante kind of fits into that box, right? It's like, okay, yeah, you bully him out, you poke him out. He's still a Cassante. He's still running away with your mid laner in the middle of a fight, and the copy pastas will flow every time the lock-in happens.
Yeah, definitely. So, of course, can be responded to by the NAR on the side of Black Lotus Esports. And of course, NAR versus Cassante tends to be a pretty safe matchup, I feel like, for the NAR, in my opinion. I don't tend to see many solo kills when it comes to that side of the matchups. Of course, Cassante can tend to be a very difficult champion to kill in lane, regardless of whether it's the Gnar or perhaps something else more aggressive. But I'm expecting something like the Cassante in the top lane. Of course, things like Aatrox can still be picked, although we do not tend to see it nowadays as much. And Gwen, as well, in the top lane, have sort of made it to the trifecta of the meta. But Gwen tends to be more of a counter pick than anything else. So definitely, I'm expecting for this top lane matchup to be quite frivolous and to be quite, I feel like, swaying for both of these sides, because whichever side gets ahead is gonna absolutely pop off in that top lane.
Just that the idea of the snowball starts to roll and the snowball can get very large very fast moving forwards.
Yeah, definitely. So of course in the jungle it is gonna be Supreme Ape, aka Revilo, for the side of Guqiang, and of course Maokai's, the Graves, the Jarvans. Graves, I think we are yet to see, hasn't been locked in quite yet, but Graves is very broken at the moment, is in a pretty good state as well, so I wouldn't at all be surprised if some of the teams do want to whip it out, especially when we're talking about a best of 5 series. You do have time to evolve, you do have time to sort of test the waters in the first couple of games, but can't be testing the waters too much because then you might run it yourself into match point in game 3, and that is not a wall that I would ever want to be backed into when it comes to best of 5.
Absolutely not. Well, it's hype for the content to immediately put yourself down 0-2. It's not great for the mental knowing that any throw, any error, any mistakes is, well, best of luck. Try again next year, gentlemen. That's a lot of strain to be putting on someone 3 consecutive games in a row. So I do find, as much as I do want to always give the nod over to Drake for his game 1 doesn't win a series, therefore it's useless. You always want to start on the right foot, right? You want to set the tone, and also the drafts and the way that they play out can be such an indicator.
I mean, yeah, definitely. So, of course, with the drafts being sort of as interesting, in my opinion, as they have been, I feel like we do tend to see each team in SLE sort of have their own mini style when it does end up coming to drafting. And it is something that we tend to see, and some very unique picks we tend to see come out. Of course, yesterday we did end up seeing the Aphelios a couple of times, which again, a champion that we don't tend to see too often. Champion that definitely requires skills to pilot, and I'm not expecting the Aphelios in today's series in either of these series today, but maybe we see something along the same lines and potentially some skill expression coming through. But with this being single elimination, you can't test the waters too much.
Yeah, there's experimentation and there's trolling and a very fine line between those things when it's all to play for, right? There's no lower bracket. There's no, okay, well, we learned from our mistakes that the AP Zach top was not the move. And you don't get a chance to ever make amends for that.
Definitely. So I would love to see some AP top Zach, but of course, moving a little bit into the jungle matchup as well, it is gonna be Oxycone, like I said, versus Reviolo in that jungle. And on the side of Black Lotus Esports, does tend to play Poppy quite a lot, so we could potentially see that as well. And on the other side, I already brought it up earlier, the Graves is the Maokais, the Eli's, of course, and it is actually, interestingly enough, going to be for today's series Sovonix in the jungle, which is something that we have, I believe, not yet seen. So definitely gonna be a mix-up and a shake-up. And Sandbag, how do you feel about sort of these roster swaps slash lane swaps heading into things like single elimination?
I mean, it's very much dependent on the squad in my expect because I have seen teams like there was a recent series that Zath and I did where they lost game 1 in such a just devastating fashion that they role swapped 4 out of the 5 players to just rearrange everyone for a mental reset. Their AD and their sup swapped and their top and their mid swapped, and then they came out in game 2 looking like a completely fresh team. So some teams can actually just, as funny as it sounds, plug and play players and roles and make it functional. Other teams are the more structured, more rigid teams. Look like they're playing with no monitors if they're out of position. They don't have that ability to adapt. So I think it's on the whole gonna be a detriment as opposed to this like X factor to throw at them. But some players can take it in stride, and you said this is the Sylvanix slotting
Yeah,
in, right?
yeah.
So there will be no shortage of confidence to make those plays happen instead of the trepidation that sometimes a sub might feel.
Yeah, definitely not. And finally underway into the draft, already seeing Poppy, Oriana, and Nar taken away by the side of Gucciang on the side of Black Lotus Esports, Zerath, Jarvan, and Ash from their side. And Sandbag, we talked a little bit about Sovonix in the jungle already hovering the Lee Sin on their side, but it is gonna be the K'Sante first pick, which we did talk a little bit about earlier. Really no surprises there. And it'll be interesting to see what they end up responding in the top lane. What would you personally like to see them pick in the top lane into something like a Cassante?
I mean, you have your classics, right? You have your Gnar, you have your Gwen, you have your tank busting of your Fioras and things. Those are great. On the other hand, completely handshake it. You can pick your Orns, you can pick your mitigators, even your Gragas can usually manage up there, but I don't even think it's the priority right now. There's so many things available. Slide down, and I think they agree with that. Pick up the Nautilus, something that's been in a premium. Guaranteed engage will never not be useful in these sorts of games. And then following it up, I expect to see the bot lane pairing on the other side of it. Maybe lock your AD here. Could be another kind of get the ball rolling in terms of building these comps.
Definitely so. And of course, the early Nautilus as well does give you access to a lot of different AD carries because Nautilus tends to be one of those supports that pairs up well with pretty much everybody. But it is going to be the Sivir this time around. Of course, we did see Sivir in yesterday's series as well. And in my opinion, it didn't look too strong. So it'll be interesting to see how the side of Black Lotus are gonna fare with it. Like you said, it yourself, Sandbag, it is gonna be paired up with the Nautilus in that
Hmm.
bottom lane. Talia on the other side, and Talia is a pretty strong champion at the moment as well. So definitely some strong
Oh,
picks coming through. Is that an early Twitch?
okay. So I love the absolute stock standard Black Lotus on the other side. Nautilus, Sivir, champs you see really relatively consistently, and then immediately answered with a flex pick in the Talia. I know it's a jungle bid. Yeah, we'll say it's a flex on that one. And then just slams the rat in there. Just trying to make sure that they have mobility around the map. Talia at moving at the speed of sound. Twitch, invisible, moving at the speed of sound with that Q. They're looking to just be everywhere all of the time. So any one of these side laners, just make sure your head's on a swivel because you might not be as alone as you feel you are.
Looking to create chaos as always on the side of Gucci, and chaos that they tend to, in my opinion, thrive in. And if they can get that chaotic game state for themselves, I feel like it is something they can benefit from. Where on the side of Black Lotus, they are a team that tend to prefer the 5v5. They are a team that, in my opinion, when I've looked at them, they seem strong and they're strongest when they have those team fight comps, when they have that strong 5v5, and it is a win con for them and something they can play off the back of. Because in my opinion, Black Lotus Esports shine on communication and talking to their players. The little communication I've had with them, they do seem to agree that their strong point is communication. So far it is good to see that they are drafting things like the Notus, things like the Olaf, alongside the Silver. But second banning phase, we do see Black Lotus Esports start off with the Karma Zero on the other side. So far, the Braum being hovered. But is there any obvious bans you'd like to see on the side of Gucci Yang, or is it? Do you think it's gonna be potentially something that's a direct ban?
I mean, I don't have something really off the top of my head. You're looking to make your support pick matter, but with the Nautilus already locked in, it's not such a big deal on that one. The flexibility gives you so many tools here for good chi, knowing that you can kind of slot this to Leah. There's also a world in which the Twitch jungles. It's not this world, but there is a world. They have enough mobility in their roles that you're not super worried about anything that they throw at you. The Nico ban, reasonable. It's always if you're a team fight team, Nico with massive AoE knockup, CCs, and the damage to follow up. That's a tool that you'd always love to have. So I can appreciate that. However, I want to highlight the Braum. Playing engaged champs into Braum feels like even when you hit, you lose. Like you connect your hook and it's a losing trade. So that's a big one to take away. Nautilus is actually allowed to press his keys and not be worried about those concussive blows taking 2/3 of his HP in return.
It's a lose-lose situation, right?
It is.
For
You
the
either
person
sit
looking
there and get
in.
poked, or you all in and you lose the trade anyway because Unbreakable is 70% damage mitigation.
Yeah, definitely not a fun thing to play into. I'm a little bit surprised personally that we haven't seen Orianna priority coming out from either of these teams, nor in the second banning phase did it end up hitting the table. Still the Maokai locked in for the side of Black Lotus Esports. Orianna is still on the table, in my opinion, the strongest mage mid laner currently in this patch. But it is going to be the Victor so far locked in instead. Another scaling option in that mid lane, which tends to be the meta nowadays. In the mid lane, you tend to go for the Orianas, the Syndras, the Victors. And there is the other ball lady, which I was talking about,
Mm.
the Syndra for the side of Black Lotus Esports.
Yeah, you're right. To call out the Orianna. However, if you look at Blue Band 1, they're That does tend to put a damper on
Ah,
the picks. It's all right. Game one, Gremlins.
game
We
one.
have a couple of those. There's I absolutely agree. That champion has been nonsense in every level of play, all the way from my solo queue games down in the depths of NA to the peaks of Faker making that champion look like it does 2k damage with a Q. So yeah, no, take that away here. Syndra versus Victor, two control mages, styles that I like coming back. I know my fair share of mage players are tired of the itemization. Mythics are leaving soon, guys. It's okay. You'll get real items soon. But it's very controlled mids, very flammable tops, but very controlled mids. So I expect to see these sides be all the more important, considering there's a Twitch, a Rakan, a Talia. Speed demons want to move. Make sure they're making these overloaded plays. And on the other side, Black Lotus, the team fight team, stack up as 5, press your keys on their head, and you will win that fight in a straight up like mano y mano.
Yeah, definitely. So, and speaking of the speed as well, you do have the Rakan if they want to opt into something like a Shirelios on that support role on the side of Guqiang, which gives you that even more of a speed boost. And on the other side, when it does come to the side of Black Lotus Esports, I talked about a little bit earlier, but the 5v5 is what they tend to draft for. And in my opinion, that's exactly what they've drafted for this time around as well. Outside of the Olaf, maybe, who can definitely side lane if he wants to and if given the chance to. But generally, the way I've seen Black Lotus Esports play, I don't expect too much side lane action coming out of him. I expect him to go for more of a team fight build oriented play style. And in the mid lane, of course, Syndra always a safe scaler alongside the Orianna and the Victor. Victor versus Syndra this time around gonna be in the mid lane, so I expect no action in there. But we have, like you said it yourself, Sandbag, a volatile top lane in the Olaf, and I'm expecting maybe 1 or 2 solo kills up there. Who knows?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be onus on the Olaf to try and make some advantage up there because Cassante provides so much just innately, whereas Olaf provides damage. Like, yes, sure, Undertow does have a slow on it, but it's not even in the same category as what a Cassante's team fight can look like. So you want to start farming plates, denying creeps, pushing them out, forcing timings, and playing for that Herald, especially knowing that Olaf really wants to cash in on where he is particularly scary.
Definitely so, especially once you unlock that Ragnarok, once you hit that level 6 and really get the CC immune. Kisante has very little counterplay into you at that point, especially once you proc up that Conqueror and you just start absolutely going ham and just hitting him on down. So if they can get a lead on the side of Black Rose Esports into that top lane, potentially get a couple of early kills into Missing Link, you can definitely, I feel like, have an advantage there. It is something that you can use as well. In the bot lane, it is just gonna be the Sivir, which means they're just looking to scale, they're looking to sit, they're looking to chill, and maybe send this Nautilus to run around the map, do a little bit of adventuring, a little bit of exploring, and potentially help out his team earlier than 14 minutes into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Nautilus can really look to exploit Victor no innate mobility and no ability to cancel the engage. Whereas inversely, Rakan dashes in, scatter, get off me. Like you don't have that immediate get off me button. Yes, you have gravity well, but you still eat the combo at the end of the day. Where if Victor has no flash, Nautilus flashes out of a bush, you just die. You just unfortunately don't have the tools at the Syndra's disposal. However, you have space with those lasers, with those ults, with that ability to create these zones. So looking to get it ugly, getting it messy, and these movement speed champions providing the space for the victor, that's where you look to find these kind of skirmishy styles. Talia picks, Rakan picks, Twitch hitting them with the I was hiding for the 15th time in the game. There's these kind of messy, like not messy, but these chaotic game states that you keep referring to.
Yeah, definitely. So, and I feel like that might be one of the most hated voice lines in the game. I can I can
he's
think of very
he's got
rarely a
so
few
many good
hated
ones.
ones. Yeah, what would you say your favorite voice line in the game is? Is it the I was hiding?
That I mean, I was voice line. Yeah, it's got to be Twitch. However, emote, it's the Melio taunt. where it's just permanent whistling in your bot lane. That's got to be my favorite from that one. But there's yeah, Twitch looking to kind of pop up and play around these vision pockets, play around these timings of yellow ward's no good. You got to pink it or it's nothing. So make sure that you're paying respect, because sometimes you press your Q key and you sit in the lane and then you can watch the mini map just recoil. All the other laners move backwards and go, all right, where is this rodent, when he hasn't actually done it, or he's recalled, or he's, once you make the threat of a movement, sometimes that can be even more devastating than actually moving, because you lose nothing, right?
Yeah, definitely. So of course, the champions like Evelyn, for example, exact same thing, right? Having that permanent stealth gives you so much pressure. And the thing is, once you make that roam once into the mid lane, for example, or into the top lane, once you put that mindset into the opponent's head, every time you go missing, they're gonna be thinking about it. They're gonna be like, oh, he's back, he's making another visit, and I'm about to die.
Yeah, and then my favorite follow-up from that, and the kind of next level that teams who play around stealth super well, is pretending you have the Twitch in your back pocket, where Victor will just walk up randomly and go, "All right, Syndra, we're fighting now," and Syndra's like, "Ah," even though it's just a Victor with no flash and 15 damage on his Q, and you can push somebody back, you can make them recoil, or top laners knowing that if you have a stealth jungler, you just randomly run at him. You press your ghost, and the dude flashes away, even though you're alone, because they're that intimidation, that fear, that trepidation that these camo champs and these mobile champs can provide is sometimes even more devastating than what the actual gank could have been. It's like running at them with a blitz hook, and they're like zigzagging, trying to backstep, right, and you just walk at them. Like they're actually actively hindering themselves based on what they fear as opposed to what's actually there.
Yeah, definitely. And in my opinion, it is something that requires communication as well. It
Mm.
is something that requires tremendous amount of teamwork to abuse the stealth champions like Twitch, things like Evelyn, for example, where if you are making that roam, it needs to be planned beforehand. It can't just be like, oh, I showed up in your lane, let's go, it's time to move. Like, it is something that needs to be planned. And other side of Black Lotus Esports, I already talked about it earlier, they have the teamwork. But this time the Twitch is on the other side. So my question is, or gonna be heading into this series, it's gonna be for the side of Black Lotus, and will they, and will the fact that they can work so well together as a team potentially be something that can help them against things like a stealth champion, against things like a potential Twitch roam into the mid lane, and maybe even bait the Twitch into roaming, and suddenly you show up with your own jungler and your own support, and you're like, hey, we're here, we want to fight, and this is something that you're gonna lose.
Oh, absolutely. If they've already committed forwards, the comms on Lotus is going to be so important. Keeping track of these slippery champions, because the inverse of the ambush is you're not built to scrap, right? You're not Talia, Twitch, Rakan, even Victor are fragile champions that when they pick their moments are incredibly powerful and can just blow you up before you realize. But if they're caught out, if Twitch does get sniffed out with one of those pinks, if Talia moves her way forwards and gets counter ganked once the flip is used, Maokai flash W on her head and she loses. She just loses in that scrap, because then the Maokai chains into the Syndra, chains into the Nautilus, change. Like, you just don't have that ability, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely. So, and I do want to go back to a point you made earlier, but before I do that, finally on the Rift, and I'm just gonna hold that point until we have a little bit of a low state in the game, and finally over to analyze the runes, over to analyze the summoner spell, sandbag, any outliers here, anything that you think we should be paying attention to
We should
about
be
we have an
paying attention
invade?
to the Nautilus running headlong into enemy jungle, perhaps, as they
Oh
just move
well.
a bit of a sneak. They're not moving forwards anything beyond that. I like to call it off. But yep, at the same time, Nautilus, he's got hook, he's got passive, he's got glacial, 3 forms of CC in one spell. May as well try and make something of it. But interestingly, don't even make it out into that Triwar to try and push for a little bit of vision.
Yeah, definitely. I would have liked for them to see. I would have liked for them to potentially push a little bit further into the enemy quadrant, into the enemy jungle. and potentially put down some vision. We do see one ward from them, but that's gonna be in the river bush. They are gonna look for a counter invade though, and definitely when you have things like a Nautilus, things like a Maokai, you tend to win over those level ones. So
Hmm.
definitely would have liked for them to push that advantage a little bit more, but they're just gonna retreat back to their own corners, gonna be starting the game stock standard, not gonna be finding any kills. And we did have 50 Shades of 16 as well sitting in the bush down below. So if he was found, could have definitely looked for something, but it is just gonna be both junglers starting top side, heading over into the bot side, and clearly heading priority towards that bot lane.
Yep, trying to move towards the all-important lane, right? Twice as important by my mathematics, considering the top laners versus the bot lane. And that being said, double melees, double engages down in the bot lane, but not the most intimidating follow-up, right? Sivir has some damage, trying to find a beautiful grand entrance down to the bot lane. Ignite committed, might have spoken too soon. Ghost has been popped for the Twitch, traded in kind for the Ignite, meaning both ADs and subs spend the same spells, but the health lead significantly favoring the Rodent.
Definitely so. And you said double melee, double engage. They feel the same way already, trading blow for blow. But look at the summoner spend on both of the AD carries, both of the support Ghost and Ignites, both down the combat summoner spells from both sides means that the threat of a kill is not necessarily as high as it would have been if those were up. Although currently the Sivir not very high on HP compared to Kanze on the Twitch.
Might be looking for a scrap here, though, as level 3, the Q does smack him back on in, and Tofu strikes plus creep splash forward. It's able to hit the passive auto, and Ruzu. We're talking about the strength of the early Olaf, and Cassante says, take a seat, sir.
Already a solo bolo in the top lane. We're getting engages all over the place. A good spell shield coming out of blue there to deny the grand entrance. But we were talking, like you said, about the strength of the Olaf, and this is not what I expected coming out of this early top lane. I didn't expect the Cassante to have the solo kill on early Sheen coming through from Ruzu as well with that back means that he's gonna be very strong Cassante.
Absolutely, and it is something that Ruzu is strong on. You have even doing a little bit of your scouting, as we might find a sniff here, sitting in the stealth. The W is not connecting for Rakan, meaning the trade will end. Regline back on in, but he's got his battle dance. Yeah, he's electing to cast it there, and so it's just gonna be trading back and forth. But this comes down to champions are only half of the story. The pilots are the other half, and something that Ruzu has been just chain playing. He's more than comfy in this one. He's seen his fair share of Vikings, and he knows how to deal with them.
Definitely so. Champion knowledge is key as well when it comes to that. So definitely gonna be looking into seeing. Hold on, another solo kill.
Trying to
Ooh,
find their
there's a
way
gang.
forwards. Ghost has been popped. Missing Link's gonna be running in to pick up that undertow. He has the tree at his back, and with Ruzu trying to find the footwork to safety, it's not enough distance. Avenged in the top lane as Ruzu will fall post TP, all importantly.
And Ruzu with an over aggressive play, a potential recall stop in the bot lane though.
Cancel. Spit of some Portal Combat, changing his mind with the Dredge line as he moves his way back in. It's not the most fearsome of fights, but at the same time does hold 16 in lane, and at half HP and no buy, there's a chance for a crash here.
Potentially could be looking for it, although I feel like they might want to stop this, but with the threat of the dredged line, Fabian being a beefy boy and having that heavy engage by his side means that they're gonna have to give up the wave. It is gonna crash down towards the bot lane. But over in the top lane, Ruzu playing his hand out a little bit too much, ends up getting punished by his over aggression. And I feel like the side of Black Lotus made the call. I feel like they were like, hey, this guy's playing really aggressive. Can we potentially get some help up here? He got the help. Missing Link is gonna have the Vampiric Scepter in his inventory versus the Sheen of Ruzu. And still, Ruzu needs to be careful because once Missing Link hits 6, once the Ragnarok comes into play, it is still gonna be a dangerous lane for him to play around.
Certainly so. It does have that survivability built into the vamp where the lower you get, the faster you hit, the more you vamp. It's a very vicious cycle for the Cassante to deal with. And when you can't really knock him away, it's not a fight that you can opt out of. However, connecting on this Drake is the side of good chi. As level 6's connect, I was the way he was posturing made me think Link might be going for something here, but instead it's just going to be scrap on out as the Ragnarok does end up getting popped, but not much more follow.
The Ragnarok gets popped. That puts Missing Link in a very vulnerable state in the top lane. Ruzu still has the ultimate of his own, so I'm looking for Ruzu to potentially play very aggressive, although ganking the bot lane.
Savonix is en route, but no level 6 to his name, meaning he can't immediately wall his way forwards. So it is just going to be a dissipation in the bot lane, just scrapping it out so far in the sides. And as we expected, the action in the sides, as we might have 16 in some danger, the dredge line gets knocked away from with a bit of a miscommunication. Kanzo here on the side as they put the shots into the mid laner. It is Savonix en route, the flash away from the Nautilus. Now it is Talia running for the hills, flashing underneath her structure. The rodent must flee. Kans and Savonix are able to escape with their lives, but Fabian is the one to just make the escape as well.
Fabian getting out there is quite big. Kanze now no health, no mana, which means he needs to be a little bit careful over under that tower, but that trade is definitely gonna go the way of Black Lotus. Sylvanex having to burn his own flash as well. Oh, hold on.
If the Q auto doesn't get the second pass through, the turret shot has been warmed and a beautiful cancel ignite committed.
Oh no!
And the tactical pause to make it all tied off. Okay, Dessa. Game 1 is in true Game 1 fashion. We got scraps, we got fights, and we have the jungler lagging out, unfortunately, to tie it all together.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate moment for the pause. Maybe if it came a little bit earlier, who knows what could have happened. Maybe the dive doesn't go through, but Kanze ends up falling under tower, ends up losing his HP, and a little bit of a wave down towards the bot lane as well. This is another we had another pause moment yesterday as well on a Vertex stream, so this is definitely something that I've experienced a lot lately, and I will be honest. I'm not expecting for either of these supports to kill each other once we come off
No.
the pause. But Sandbag, maybe this could get interesting. Maybe.
We were expecting the Rakan combo to do what? 400? What's that?
It's like
Like
400 damage?
600 damage total with the W shield falling off with no
Probably.
ignites. There's a world, you know? Maybe he does have death cap hidden in his pockets. However, I don't expect to see either of these supports falling.
Oh, nah.
Wow, who could have foreseen? In fact, both supports opt out of that one. They're content to let sleeping dogs lie and just march back for the recalls of their own.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to go back to that one. Definitely gonna have to see how much the supportive are gonna combat each other. But a kill going over to blue, second kill of the game already, having a couple of components in his inventory. A little bit of a pause bug here, that's why it freezes. So don't worry, guys. Not just on your side, it's on our side as well. Riot, with their 200 years of ingenuity, still can't make a spectate that actually works. But it's fine. These are the situations we live in, and just some more trading in the top lane and in the mid lane as well. But both of these teams posturing for the Herald.
I was gonna say you're giving the SLE a bad rap, considering the fact that no matter what happens off of a pause, there is always that delay to build up the 3-minute buffer. So that's a Riot problem, and it has always been a Riot problem from the beginning of time. So Riot, please fix. Thank you kindly. Fight for the crab, however, Ruzu trying to posture with 16 en route. But it is going to be a scrap here in this river. Charm has been connected with the quickness as now they move their way onto the Cassante. 16 must retreat in kind. Cassante going for a bit of an exit, but the power unleashed on the sides. Cassante will drop Savonix left to the dogs. He is CC'd. He is locked down as Sivir gets paid. Now the only one left to stand is this Rakan. A convincing fight win for the team fight team.
Black Lotus Esports get the fight, but the fight is not over quite yet. TP coming in as well, pings towards this top side Herald. Still
Gonna
under
keep it going.
protection.
Dredgeline connecting onto this back line. It is 16, and Khan's fighting 2v4 and bit off more than they can chew. Ruzu looking to take something back. The Twitch does finish off the Nautilus, but now it is Cassante looking to keep it going. He TPs back in and gets his own back. Now it's the Ragnarok pop. The Olaf running forwards is able to find the first slow. He's trying to connect the second axe. However, careful of that Chaos Storm up in the top lane. A fight on two fronts. I'm not liking your chances, Savonix. The flip is late as Missing Link is able to take him down. For Breathe, where did it all go wrong? There's 15 kills in 10 minutes. We're dying, TPing, and running it back in the river.
Savonix had enough time to run away, get back in there, and die again. With how long that team fight ends up taking, Herald is going to be secured by Oxyconey on the side of Black Lotus Esports. So they are definitely the ones who come out ahead of that. Picked up a couple of kills for themselves as well. Like you said, already have that 5-kill lead and the gold lead even before popping the Herald, even before getting these plates in. 4,000 gold in it for them at the moment. Blue is the one who's been picking up all of these kills. 5-1 on the Sivir, and this many kills on someone that scales very well into the late game is always going to be scary to face off against.
Absolutely. She can just sit and free fire. She doesn't even have to do the, we might have to hold that. Okay, I didn't know if W got canceled. That bit of a silly dredge line connects onto this Rakan. Able to find this depth charge into the back lines. Careful of that blast cone as we find their quickness to safety. Long chase down, but such a slippery champion, even defeating the silliness of the knot hook.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long chase down, but it was even a longer hook bending it around the rock right there. Fabian truly showing us his ninja skills and maneuvers. Herald now spawn on the bot side of the map. Dragon started up here as well. Could look to contest it. Sovanix almost having his ultimate and the Weaver's wall back up, but looks like they will just give it on away, which does mean second Drake of the game is gonna go over to the Black Lotus Esports. So no Dragon stacking so far for the side of Gucci. Some plates into the pocket of Blue.
Okay, the hook connecting, and Rakan's in massive trouble here, and the pass-through finishes the job. A simple spell shield spells his doom as 50 Shades of 16 drops. Now up in the top lane, Ruzu electing to find some more fighting into the Vamp champ. Not sure you're liking your chances right now as Missing Link continues to bully.
Missing Link continues to bully, but I gotta question the engage there after they take Dragon on the side of Black Lotus Esports. You know that the Maokai is around, you know the Nautilus is around as well, and still you jump into the waiting arms of Blue, into the waiting arms of Fabian, and kind of just donate yourself over. Tower gathered down in the bottom lane for Blue, some more gold into the pocket of the Silver. Full plates as well, and this is going to be one rich man in that AD carried on roll down towards the bot lane, but Shades looking in the mid lane, looking to do some action of his own.
However, action will not be coming as he continues to be set on this red ward, and the Syndra is more than happy to sit here and waste his time. Quickness, however, Pop's trying to find his fly underneath the structure. The flip connects, and he makes it happen! The magician pulling the rabbit out of the hat, sat on vision, and still finds his man.
Sandbag, you tried to paint him for a fool. Little did you know he has the patience of an ancient monk. He knew exactly what the play was right there. Ends up getting benefits for it. Nonetheless, Gloomy ends up falling in the mid lane. And again, gotta question the decision making there when he sat on a ward for a solid 10 seconds. Still finds himself the kill. And I can't tell whether it's a mistake coming out of Gloomy or just a really good play coming out of Shades.
I mean, as with all things, a little bit of both here, as the spray and pray has been committed. Khan's flying forwards, and the expunge finishes the job. One Bork, and he's full build, ghosting forwards, is able to take a 2 versus 1. The Twitch sees, all right, Sivir's online, but this ain't the late game, bud. This is still my domain.
Kanze finds himself a kill there. Although in the top lane, we could have a gank.
We do have ourselves a gank as the Cassante goes all out, and the Missing Link is falling dangerously low. Doesn't even need the assistance. It is mythic completion as Ruzu finds another solo on the Missing Link.
Ruzu absolutely abusing this matchup for his side. 3-3-0 already, and just seeing how well he knows his champion, seeing how well he knows this matchup. Something I talked about in draft already. This man on the Casante is unleashed. A wall in the bot
Weaver's
lane.
Wall, Gloomy, and a lot of problems. Has the flash they saved from the earlier play, so will be able to escape with their life. 5-minute spell has been taxed, though, and I'm liking what I'm seeing from Savant getting his movement around the map.
Definitely. So, although some more action in the bot lane.
We do have a scrap in the river here as the Savant goes golden, letting the Maokai ult pass harmlessly over. 50 Shades of 16 with the very corner of the grand entrance means he's able to pop up the Maokai, but he is tanky enough to escape. Very nicely done to continue jockeying for position and winning the river for your team.
Winning the river and Sandbag. This is a best of 5, and both of these teams said in this game one, we're here to brawl. It might be a long day, but we are not scared. Scrapping all over the place. 19 kills already in it, and Black Lotus Esports with a 2,000 gold lead. So the side of Guqiang managing to crawl back the gold lead a little bit, but still the winning side has been Black Lotus Esports thus far. Herald now has spawned as well, playing the top lane though. Ooh, the rat makes it out.
Rat does escape the trap here, and it is now the mids and tops swapping themselves over the rotations to try and find these structures. No one has been able to connect on these all-important mid structures very often. They're still very healthy in kind. They have one pickup for the side of Black Lotus, but there's looking to open the map, I'm sure is the next step that these two teams are looking for, and Shelly might do that trick.
Herald definitely gonna help you to open up the map, especially if you look at the tower health in the mid lane for the blue side. You can see it is not the healthiest thing in the world, so one dash is gonna be able to secure that. If you put the Herald in the mid lane, you can see them grouping up in the top lane thus far though.
Gloomy able to find the scat of the week on the 50 Shades of 16. Charm W connecting. Rebreathe has the damage. Flashing forwards. The well will force them into a rock in a hard place. Victor gets paid off the back of 16's play. However, up in the top lane, like you said, the group up makes short work of top T1. The Drake will be stuck, but your base is under siege. Ruzu and Khans must hold the door. Now the pinch onto the rat. Can they find the dredge line? They do indeed. The AD carry is caught. Oxy will live, and they are able to get this Drake, but lose so much topside.
A lot lost topside, and you said Gloomy was stuck in a hard place. So was Kanze, stuck between 3. Nowhere to go. The stealth ends up running out, and he just gets dredgelined into an absolute buttload of damage coming out from the side of Black Lotus Esports. And of course, Blue just does all that damage, even picks himself up his second item, second and a half now, with having that Last Whisper in his inventory as well. And it's gonna be a lot of damage coming out from the Sivir and a lot of peel alongside him. He's got the Maokai, he's got the Olaf. Not gonna be the easiest thing in the world to reach, especially with that spell shield gonna be very tough to take out. And I'm expecting first of Black Lotus Esports to just play around blue, play around the Sivir, and just play around the 2-item spike 18 minutes into the game.
Until you have enough threat from these mages to make the difference, it is going to be a matter of if blue is autoing, then Black Lotus is winning as they look to find the ult in the bot lane. Ragnarok pop, but a long undertow means he can't pick up his axe. He won't have that arrow in his quiver with the ghost and the ult. He's able to find his escape, but the collapse incoming. Sidestep away from that seismic shove. The slows will follow. Threaded volley will continue to put the shots into the Viking as he retreats for the hills, but the chem plant brings the move speed up in the mid lane. We look for another fight. Blue burning to the poison, but is able to retreat, limping to safety with the sliver. Oxy can be popped up by 50 Shades of 16, but the sap magic heals him for more than he took. He's able to deny any follow-up on that. Is now Fabian in a whole load of trouble. Every time we pan, the fight continues. Ruzu not going to be checking that bush, so the Maokai safe in the brush will be able to live, and a big fight back for the side of Good Sheep.
A big fight, but Kanze almost finds the shutdown out of Blue, but Blue, like I said, lives on a sliver of HP. A TP in the mid
The
lane.
TP and is going to be mistiming the engage, able to go all out underneath the structure, missing Gleek under fire, and they demolish him, trying to hold mid T1 and simply pays with his soul. Gloomy in trouble here as the pop-up from the Rakan connects once more. Spell Shield has been used, so if they find their way onto him, the power unleashed on the Rebreathe. Look for the Maokai flank as he finds the W into the back lines. Dredge line connecting, and the red team turns it. Gloomy will be able to alley-oop it to Blue. They bite off more than they can chew, and they move their way towards this Baron.
They move their way towards the Baron, but Kanze, the rat, still hiding, still looking, but is not gonna go for a play Baron. It's gonna start up here, but keep your eyes on the cooldowns. Ruzu, Sovanix, and Rebreathe. No ultimates on their side. They know this is
They
happening.
can
Is this gonna be
challenge
stopped, or is Black Lotus Esports gonna secure the first Baron of the series?
8k HP. They can look to challenge here. Gloomy on a sliver. Khan's trying to fly into that backline. They do have a cone if they look. 3k HP. The Maokai ultimate to deny. Will they be able to find the escape is the question. Sylvanix, do not take that, bud. Able to find a seismic shove onto Fabian and Oxy. You blast cone in, and that's a one-way ticket. So electing to not do that one. Good call. They do get their prize on the side of Black Lotus, and this game just got a whole lot more pressure filled.
6,000 gold lead for the side of Black Lotus Esports. Baron on their back, 2 items both on Oxyconian. I was about to say 2 items on Blue as well, but holy hell, this man's got 3 items compared to Kanze's 1. So definitely a lead in the AD carry department. But I gotta criticize a little bit on the top side, on the side of Black Lotus Esports, because I feel like Missing Link so far not showing us the performance I'm used to seeing coming out of this man, especially on the Olaf. Not having a great game for himself. 2 items onto Ruzu as well means this is a scary Cassante. But Dragon spawning in the bot lane means this bot river is gonna be contested by both teams and potentially another fight brewing.
Oh, absolutely. If I know anything about the pace of this game, a fight is brewing. Good She not willing to give it up. Yes, top lane lead. However, I think this Sivir is the trump card. I don't think you have enough ways onto it. Nice little flip here from Sylvanix. We'll get a third of Fabian health bar, but you don't have the greatest way in. You have your Rakan, but the spell shield can eat the first tick of that. And beyond that, can he be peeled? Again, blue is king. That is the president. That is the VIP. You must keep firing. And right now, I don't see a way for Good Chi to consistently pick him off.
Definitely not. Of course, there is the range of Kanze on that Twitch. Once you get that spray and pray, you can try reach blue, but it's not an easy thing to do. Like you said, there's no dive on the side of Guccian to reach this Silver Dragon now. Gonna be started up, gonna be secured by the side of Black Lotus Esports as well. That's gonna be the second Dragon of the game, a step closer to that Chemtech Soul and that Soul Point. But this top lane does need to be a little bit careful because you can see Sovanix pondering. He's hovering on the Talia around Missing Link, but decided Black Lotus said, screw the top lane, we're gonna go bot lane, looking for the bot lane tier 2, and definitely can pick this one up.
Yeah, this one's a no doubter. You've got plenty of damage. You got the Baron buff in tow. Khan's going to be lurking in these sides. Weaver's Wall is up if they look to pinch and hold them against it. However, they were able to back on out on the side of BLE, not biting off too much more. The cancel comes through, though, and they do find one. Fabian is abandoned by his squad. The timing just slightly desynced, meaning the Nautilus on a one-way ticket to Davy Jones' locker.
The sacrificial lamb will be left behind. Unfortunately, for the side of Guqiang, it is only the Nautilus. A kill is a kill, but you really want to be looking for the silver shot now. Really want to be trying to take blue down if you can. 50 Shades now looking for a potential play on the bot lane, but is going to think better of it. Missing Link does still have a lot of powers, does still have that Ragnarok by his side. So if Rebreathe gets a little bit too close, still can get chased down by the Angry Viking with the axes. And so far, again, we've said this before, we'll say it again. Blue is the shining man on the side of Black Lotus Esports. And 50 Shades so far has found some creative ways to influence this game, has found himself a creative gank onto Gloomy earlier into the game, led into a kill. So definitely, if there is a man that can reach Blue, if there is a man that can find a creative outlet and a shortcut into trying to CC Blue, it is going to be the Rakan.
It absolutely is. However, the full combo from Savonix got about a third of Oxy's HP, and the plants are gonna pretty much undo that pick. So, in terms of frontline, Maokai seems up to the task right now, trying to find their way on in. Fabian, we'll gloss over that one. That we'll just not address that one moving forwards, as it is going to be a temporary 4v5. 50 Shades of 16 finds Blue in a brush thanks to the accelerated trip of the blast cone, but electing not to pull the trigger considering no follow-up. And Black Lotus might need to tidy up a little bit, dot their I's, cross their T's, and make sure they're setting themselves up for the ideal fights, because they have strength, but they just have to be cautious because they're not out of the woods yet.
They have strength, but strength in numbers. Fabian, a little bit of an oopsie in the mid lane, so to speak, a little bit too far, but the rest of Black Lotus Esports still living, still healthy on the bot lane.
Okay, going for the dive is Ruzu. However, turret plus Olaf with a nice cancel on the ultimate. Missing Link is not going to take the disrespect lying down, and quick work made of Ruzu.
And this is what you came over from NA Sandbag. This is the gameplay that you wanted to see. Ruzu just going under tower live on oopsie, although engaging the mid lane.
Two ults popped here, forcing the flash out of the Rakan. A big tool for a snap engager to lose, meaning that this is not quite as fearsome a dive. And he is alone. Ruzu is down. 16 has no dive buddy, and the dredge line not connecting does give a second life to this mid laner. But at the same time, you're not liking your chances. Careful of this TP, though, when Ruzu awakens.
Careful of the TP, but careful of Sovonix as well. You can tell he was in the sidelines looking with the Weaver's wall, trying to see if there's anyone who they can cut off potentially from the herd of Black Lotus, seeing if there's any lone sheep wandering around, but no one will be found for now. Baron gonna be on the cards now for the side of Black Lotus Esports, seeing if they can potentially find the big objective over towards the top side, but need to be quick with it if they're looking to contest this Dragon as well. Dragon is going to be up in about 45 seconds, but Baron, you can see, is the big objective. They're hunting, looking, and any picks, any deaths here on the side of Guqiang could be absolutely detrimental when it comes to that Baron.
Certainly so. We do have dotting the I's, crossing the T's being done, making sure that you're taking the jungle, make sure you're doing your vision setup, make sure that you're trying to control the space. However, top laners can still join. That's the X factor you're looking for from the side of Chi, more than likely. And with the delay, like you said, 17 seconds on this Drake, inside track for good Chi, meaning the fight is going to start bleeding elsewhere, and mid T2 is given for free.
Mid tier 2 is gonna fall, but look at the positioning on the side of Gucci. They're the ones who can still push away the side of Black Lotus Esports from this Baron, but Dragon is the objective that is being pinged. Looks like they will just do the classic old trade of the top side for the bot side, but as I say that, you can see them looking for
Bottom
an
napping.
engage.
Gloomy on the front lines is going to get flipped in, and he is down. Baron has also been slain with a long taxi ride for the Maokai. He's now on a flank position. Savonix and Khan's going to try and fight their way out of the corner. Pop up from the Nautilus ultimate as he's still firing. The Maokai does have enough in the tank. Now it's up to Missing Link to try and find the cleanup. 1 versus 3. He goes into his Ragnarok with Blue en route. Here comes the Cassante damage. Does not connect with that W forwards. It is the Pathmaker trying to make a path to the exit as Ruzu and Rebreathe running for the hills. Cassante still all out, but cannot stand up to the Sivir. 2 autos finishes the job, and it is Blue cutting him down. 2 men left with the Baron and taking 4 members of Chi with him.
And great work from Blue again, just living despite the Kanze flank, the little rat, the thieving rascal trying to get his way in onto the enemy AD carry. But this time around, Blue is the better ADC, ends up even making a difference after the team fight. Like you said, two autos onto Ruzo, and he just ends up falling. And they got the Baron. I was talking about the trade of objectives. Looks like they're going to get both of the objectives.
Yeah, they get all three if you consider the team fight an objective of just making sure the enemy team isn't there to contest you. Taking the kill lead back, taking the Drake lead back, the gold lead was never in doubt. And Black Lotus Esports in game one find themselves set up for success to look to try and tidy this off and go 1-0 up in the series.
And yeah, definitely. This is gonna be Black Lotus Esports' game to lose. And it'll be a hard one if they do end up losing it, because if they do, it'll be a huge mental setback for them. But Blue 928 on this silver, 4 item in his inventory, Bloodthirster that finished up, giving you that all important sustain with the long range of Kanze. And Kanze, in my opinion, has had a great game for himself so far. The stats might not reflect it. And yes, he did have that one oopsie over in the top lane, but outside of that, he's done his best to try find Blue. Every time he sees the Sivir, it is that ta, and Blue having to run away from the hills.
It's been an uphill battle, I will say that. Kans is doing the best with what he has, but he does not have a lot of space or time to work with, considering the siege has begun, and Sivir can hit whatever she wishes here. A sidestep away from the W. The Rakan flies forwards. It gets picked off. The flip is beautiful on the back half of it as they find their way onto Oxy. The burn from the ultimate, but it is not enough in the tank. They just don't have enough to get the job done. And with big spells committed, I expect to see mid T3 dropping soon. Cons looking for the spray and pray, looking for the big moment. He finds his way on the blue and opens up. The fire has been stoked, and the rat goes wild, setting off the siege with a triumphant victory. Cons is able to take down Fabian, able to force them back. The top side will retreat, and right on cue, the reverse curse. We credit Cons, and he pulls another fight together.
And this is again Kanze just finding the big flank again, seeing if he can cement himself as the better AD carry. He's the one with all the tools on the side of Gucci Yang to take this game potentially for themselves, even opting into the Swifties instead of the Berserker Greaves to make sure he is a speedy boy, to make sure that Blue doesn't get to see the light of day. So far, the man on our screens at the moment, 50 Shades, trying to do his best to get these engages on in, but at this point, when you're looking at so much damage on the other side, Rakan is so damn squishy against point-and-click CC like Fabian, like Oxyconi on the Nautilus and Maokai, that those engages are very, very hard to find.
But this is the perfect example, right? This is the game in a nutshell. 50 Shades of 16 tried to brute force it, tried to run straight into the headlong Black Lotus team, and was slapped out of the air, right? You tried to go right down Main Street and was denied. Cons went for the flank. And the difference between a small angle change is the difference between an 0 for 1 and a 3 for 0. Like a 4-player swing based on who they are hitting is everything in this game. You need to find your premium targets. It's Blue first, Gloomy second, Mop up afterwards. Because as you saw, they picked off, quote unquote, picked off Oxy, and he walked away. He's still rocking his bounty. Olaf is going to be Olaf one way or another. It's got to be target selection, and it's got to be creative here for the side of Gucci.
And it's gotta be Blue. He's the big man, the main target. But someone that we haven't talked about quite a lot, just because the impact hasn't been obvious, is gonna be Gloomy. That ticking time bomb in the mid lane on the Syndra. Once those splinters come on in, it's gonna be one button onto Kanze, and Kanze is gonna pop like a balloon once Gloomy finishes up the 3rd item of his. So Shadow Flame plus the Luminous Tempest, and once the Execute comes on in, Kanze can definitely look for the flanks, but if he's trying to flank the Syndra, he might have a bad time.
Yeah, you can glide all you want with those Swifties, but you're getting too comboed. QR, boom, congratulations. Nice movement. And speaking of boom, they find the Roan. He is down. Cons is over before the fight begins. It's now Chi trying to fight for their lives. They're able to get a trade back. Shut down onto the Maokais. The missing link goes in the middle of 4 people. He's got the redemption to try and turn the tides. It is Rebreathe trying to kite for his life against the Olaf. The backline melts. He provides the space, they provide the damage, and Cassante must try and find some sort of heroics. The solo lanes holding the door as best they can, but it is Blue cutting him down. Rebreathe on a sliver. It now faces the might of 4 men trying to hold the door on his own, and he has a tough task ahead of him.
Definitely so. Rebreathe, the lone survivor of the team fight, just looking to wave clear as much as he can. Should be double inhibitor picked up here for the side of Black Lotus Esports. I don't think they can end the game off of 4 casters and 1 cannon minion, but gonna think better of it as well and gonna just back on away. Dragon, of course, is up, so is the Baron, but Kanze, he has ghosted, he's got the stealth still, he's looking.
Trying to find his way onto Blue, opening up with that ultimate. The spray and pray committed, trying to find the expunge. The spell shield's able to eat it, and the rat is down. He will die valiantly, able to pick up 2 members. Shut down, going over to Rebreathe, and the support to sweeten the deal. He might have just stopped himself that soul point as the ultimate unleashed. 16 will be able to survive as now Gloomy's going to be jumped on by Savonix. He's got the damage and cuts him down. It's now missing Link in a 1 versus 3. Oxycontin trying to move his way on in from the side. Savonix forced to flash, able to block it up, but both get rooted nonetheless. It is the Maokai in the backlines. Link is down. He doesn't have enough to get it done. Savonix with 1 more auto. The healing, the shielding, the utility, and Good Chi fight their way back from the brink with an ace and a dragon.
And there's just no damage left once the Sivir falls, once the Syndra falls. It is Oxy versus the world, and he gets absolutely shut down. Took all 5 members, but he gets shut down nonetheless. Sovanix with a beautiful flash to get himself out of danger. Missing Link, once the Ragnarok runs out, he is under all that CC, under all that pressure coming out from the side of Gu Qiang, and of course, Kansei. I don't know if it was really worth it, considering Blue did end up having that GA, which he has sold now that it had run out. But I want to say the big shutdown going over to Rebreathe, the victor, getting Blue and getting that big shutdown, does now indeed have full build, 6 items in his inventory, 36 minutes into the game. And this is what happens, Sandbag, when you got 2 slow scalers in the mid lane. You pay attention to the bot lane, couple of kills on over there, and 36 minutes later, they're just one-shotting everybody.
Yeah, 36 minutes later, you're 12-2 wondering, guys, what happened? we had the Twitch controlled. He was managed. He was flame horizoned. Why am I getting Victor lasered for 800 damage every time he presses it? Team?
Yeah, definitely has picked up a lot of these kills on the side, but now Baron is gonna be up. We were talking about Black Lotus Esports with the gold lead earlier on. Sandbag, it is 26-27. Gu Qiang have done an incredible job of clawing this way back. Yes, the gold lead is still the hands of Black Lotus Esports by about 3,000, but the bleeding, it has been stemmed. Kanze, he's been playing so aggressive. He said, look, give me the GA. I'm sure if I have the GA, I can make the flank live and buy the boys a little bit of space. But you can see the Black Lotus Esports, they are grouping over towards this top side. They're trying to hunt for any catches they can find. Missing Link on the flank as well. Keep your eyes on this Olaf because he definitely can do a lot of damage.
And this fight, in a convincing way, one way or another, is going to be the game decider. If this can be a decisive victory for either squad, 3K or not, this game will just close here as they try and jockey for mid positioning. She's doing the right thing and trying to get mid prio. Now moving back over to this Baron. HP down to 6K. 50 Shades of 16 looking. They find the engage, but the root is enough to deny. Now the engage comes through. The river's going to be Khans opening up into the back lines and wiping them from the map. It is backline access for the Viking. Oxyconey runs. Khans gives chase. The autos will be able to seal the deal, and the Bork for the chase. It's only a matter of time before he succumbs to the bleed. They drop 2, but they get 4, and Good Chi battling back takes the kill lead, moving their way forwards up this mid lane.
And Missing Link was just nowhere to be seen at the start of that team fight. I was talking about the big flank. Homie had the big wait as he just waited for his team to die. Then was like, yeah, this is my time to shine. But Missing Link gonna be the sole defender of this potential inhib tower with the one cannon minion left. Might still be able to pick this one up. Kanze, keep in mind, Dust out of the GA is tanking some tower shots though, so he's gonna lose about half of his HP. But with no backup anywhere soon for Missing Link, the inhib is gonna be picked up. And Sandbag, you said this is gonna be the deciding fight. Looks
Okay,
like we're gonna have one
connecting over the
more.
overtow might have to move their way backwards. Khan's going into the stealth, the second one not connecting. Ruzu able to get hooked up by this Nautilus. Missing Link connecting once more. The slows, the CC, the chain, able to find the exit with the Cassante ultimate.
Oh my
He
god.
is all out and he is all out of gas, moving his way backwards into his own river as he finds his escape. They do get everyone out, but the inhib will not drop.
And I don't think that's even that bad. The main thing is they both got out. Kanze still has the GA left for this next team fight. And that's the thing. Once you got the GA, it is no longer Gloomy who can press a single button on you and just absolutely delete you from the map. Now you actually have to think about how to kill the Twitch on the side of Black Lotus Esports. You can see them switching up into the mid lane as well. Dragon is gonna be 40 seconds out. This is Sandbag, no matter who it goes to, going to be Soul for one of these teams.
Someone's got to claim it here as we see the jungler and the support squaring off. The previous fight was split, and now they find another one in the mid lane. Ruzu with the Weaver's Wall coming in. He has reinforcements en route, and they find their pick, but it is the Twitch under fire. He goes into GA. Blue team's going to be marching their way forwards. Blue doesn't have enough left, and Good Chi continue to march their way down mid lane. They continue to battle their way through it, but the base is under fire. Missing Link at the TP to reinforce it. Everyone gets flipped. Savonix holds the door and slams it on them. They continue to survive as these squads will not give an inch.
They will not give an inch. They will not be taking any miles. The ace coming through for the side of Gucci and long death timers on the side of Black Lotus Esports. This could be potential game if they can get this. And if it is, what a comeback from them managing to get the gold lead now only down to 500 gold and 16 seconds on Oxyconey, 30 seconds on Missing Link, 10 seconds on Blue, and they are looking for the Nexus Towers.
Trying to close. Nautilus is going to be trying to clear the wave as best he can, throwing up a shield, but the reinforcements have arrived. You got to cut the wave as best as you can. Able to get the first one knocked down, but reinforcements have arrived. CC'd underneath the structure. Cassante eating tower shots. They move their way forwards, and now it is Maokai trying to find his way onto the top laner. It is Ruzu under fire. Rebreathe and Cons force their way backwards. They pick up the top laner. Now is Blue looking to turn this one around, kicking him out of the base and finds the spell shield. Cons is able to turn this on the other half. The marksman is down. The Twitch free fires. 50 Shades of 16 and Cons continue to battle 3 versus 2. The ghost from Missing Link. This is a long run for the Viking and a longer chase for the Twitch. He's able to find the TP. Looking for the back door. This game is on a knife's edge, and Missing Link looks to finish the job, waiting for the Twitch to join. It is up to the stall here. The Ragnarok has been popped. He's finding his way onto the turret. Does Cons have the damage to punch through it in time? Auto's on to Missing Link, and he has enough juice. The shield will not do it, and it will be 1/3 HP. Gloomy and Fabian going to be popped up. Cons free firing, spray and pray like the Pope with a super soaker. He holds the door. Double kill to the rat. The ace to finish it, and this game keeps going.
Sandbag, what is happening? 2 open nexuses in game 1, 80,000 gold for both of these teams. Fabian with a death timer of 35 seconds, same as Missing Link, same as Gloomy. This is gonna have to be an absolute hero performance coming out from Blue if they wanna stop this bleeding, if they wanna stop their nexus from blowing up. No TPs on the side of Black Ops Esports, which means no chance for a backdoor and the side of Gucci Yang are looking to end this game. They're looking to push down mid, but Kanze with the stealth. This could get bad very quickly for the Black Lotus Esports.
XD trying to find the 3-man in. They get their way out of the 80 carry. Blue is forced to flash. The poison ticking. His main man in the tree is down. They set their sights on the turrets. One Nexus will be in the sights of the rat. Cons, to the detriment of all else, look to put the finishing autos in. Do they have enough of the tank? Rebreathe, trying to tap it down. They will get it done. Ruzu can finish the job. And it is good chi in 44 minutes. 80-something kills. Game 1 secured.
Game 1 secured for the side of Gucci Yang. And like you said, 40-minute game coming out from both of these teams. And what a performance coming out from the Kanze, the main man himself. We made fun of the rat in the champ select, but he showed us that the flanking maneuvers is exactly what you need. Blue getting such a lead in the early game, but it ends up not being enough, could not put the team on his back, and Gucci Yang, with them taking game 1, is gonna set this series off to a roaring start.
And I would just like to put out a PSA. I want to make a formal apology to Rebreathe, because by the time he was online, the game was just such mayhem that he got glossed over every single time, despite absolutely monstering the game, because we were deciding to TP 137 times a minute. He's pumping out damage, and the glory is the 80 carry, but the engine is the mid. And if this is game 1, you're gonna need a sub play-by-play by game 3 tops. we are gonna call in reinforcements here to try and move this along, because I don't know how many 44-minute bangers you guys have seen, but I, for one, am here for every single one of them.
I hope there's more 44-minute bangers to come. I hope the entire series, how many play-by-play casters we have to go through, I don't care, as long as we keep getting these 44-minute bangers in front of us. 41-35. And you talked about the mid lane of the Victor. 18-3-11. 6 items, and ended up being, I believe, 12-on-2 or something at like 30 minutes into that game. Absolutely ludicrous performance coming out from them too. But we are gonna go into a quick stream restart to solve some technical difficulties we are having at the moment, and make sure we are ready, as well as the players, for our second game of the day, guys. So you saw game 1, we saw game 1, 44-minute banger. Rest of the series is gonna be an absolute banger as well. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to the game two of our first series of the day. Later on, we will have another series, but Sandbag, 44 minutes, 2 open nexuses, and a comeback from Guqiang in game one.
The worst part is, despite the mouthful, we missed like 15 talking points saying that. We were on our third Baron, we were on Soul, there was an Elder coming up, we were 76 kills in 43 minutes. That game was a series. That felt like a best of 3 being completed there. However, Good Chi are 1-0 up. It doesn't matter how you get it done, they got it done. So they are 1 up, and they are going to be able to dictate the pace moving forwards.
They are, but speaking of the pace, it looks like Black Lotus Esports said game one draft, no issue, no biggie. It was the hell way we play. We are gonna run this back. Olaf Nautilus once again versus the Kesante once again in the top lane. We'll see if Zaraguchi and wanna maybe bring up a new champion onto the board, whether we see the Victor again, maybe the Rakan lock in. But at least in my opinion, the Rakan didn't seem too influential in that last game, so I would, in my opinion, be looking at something else. It is going to be the Renata Glask coming through, and this time, gonna go for some counter engage.
Yep, trying to find answers into this Nautilus, into this Olaf, champions that want to march forwards, the bailout, the hostile takeover, big tools to deny that space, so I'm a big fan of this champion and the kind of competitive scene. Solo queue doesn't translate, but up here, where you're able to facilitate something like a hyper carry. Kaisa also seeing prevalence. I would not be the greatest fan of Ezreal Renata, if I'm honest, but Jinx instead going to be the lock-in, trying to make sure that she can stay firing and translates perhaps cleaner than the first time around.
Hopefully so, and you said Renata with the hyper carry is Jinx. Definitely the best hyper carry of the patch. Still very good after the buff she did receive. It'll be interesting to see what they end up opting for this time around, whether it's going to be the Sivir in the AD carry role, but just going to opt in to pick up the jungler instead. And again, these are Sandbag the exact same 3 picks we had last time around. This time there is no prio on the Sivir, but it's still the Makai, it's still the Nautilus, it is still the Olaf, and Black Lotus Esports looking to run this back. What sort of bans are you looking from the side of Guqiang in the second banning phase, and potentially good picks for the side of Black Lotus Esports?
Bans for the side of Yan. An interesting one here. Trying to make sure that you pinch the AD pool could always be an option here. Trying to make sure that you're able to give, if you're playing around the Jinx, giving her a nice lane, taking away some of the Ashes and some of the more, or Ash already being taken away, but some of the more irritating matchups could be a world in which you go for that. Also taking comfort away, another one that you're trying to take away. So Syndra going to be locked in. The Lee Sin ban, earning a bit of respect here. And instead, moving towards this pool of mids, it is going to be Syndra plus the Azir Hover and locked in the ban, plus Lee Sin and Talia on the other side.
It is going to be the Lee Sin taken away, and like you said, the AD carry pool is not going to be pinched this time on around. Notice, again, a champion you can pair up so many AD carries with. Things like Kaisa that we mentioned earlier are still open, and AD carry that the side of Guqiang hovered, so it'll be interesting to see if it does end up getting taken away here from the side of Black Lotus Esports. But they're Sandbag, are we about to run back the exact same draft? They're missing one.
The Lotus is looking to run it back. They absolutely are. Unfortunately, their plans have been derailed with that Syndra ban. They will not be able to fully tie off the salty run back. So you're going to have to find another control mage in that same vein would still get the job done. It is still very salty run back adjacent.
Definitely. So, of course, when you talk about mages in the mid lane, that is generally what we tend to find nowadays. Things like the Nico that I was about to bring up before they hovered it are still open. Things like the Victor we saw in the last game being very, very prevalent on the side of Guqiang, opted in for by Rebreathe 18-3-11 is what he ended the game on. Definitely a big difference maker on their side. Wouldn't be surprised if they pick it up once more. I would expect that he has the highest of confidences with it after the way he handled himself in that game. One Akali being hovered at the moment outside of Black Lotus Esports. If it does get locked in, this is gonna make mid lane very spicy, and spice it will be.
Electing to switch up the styles. No more control mage handshake. Looking to get down and dirty, looking for this sort of scrappy style. And there is a massive amount of skirmish potential on the side of BLE right now. Maokai, Akali, Olaf, even the Nautilus can contribute some really nasty base stats. Something that Jinx and Victor and these more hyper carry late game oriented champions more than likely do not have any interest in joining. So I could see a world where BLE are able to push leads and push them hard into these scaly styles.
And kind of what we saw in game one as well, right? We saw them get the lead in the early game, bunch of kills, going over to Blue Silver, and just couldn't, unfortunately, with the open Nexus, transfer it into AW. But like you said, so much early power coming outside of Black Lotus Esports. Akali can output so much damage with that Shuriken flip, and so much CC in the Maokai, in the Nautilus Sivir, with the solid backline damage with the ricochet she's got as well, and can definitely provide some important utility in that ultimate usage. So definitely looking on the side of Black Lotus Esports to make these plays in the early game, and definitely looking for potentially in the top lane, maybe Missing Link doesn't get solo killed level 4, level 3.
Potentially. Maybe he's a little bit more experienced. He's aware of what happens. Is going to try and hold it a bit better. But Cassante was pretty nasty up there in the top lane. There's a world in which he still pulls it off. And the deception might not be there, but he might be able to just straight up outplay.
Yeah, this is not a Deception 100 moment coming out from them. And of course, gotta big up Sovanix a little bit in that first game. A lot of good walls coming out of him, a lot of good moments with the Talia combo, but he ended up being enough for his team to bring in the win. And I'm very delighted to see that they opted out of the Rakan this time around, with it not being too useful in that game one. And if there is any hostile takeovers to be landed on the Sivir, it could prove absolutely detrimental for your chances to win this fight. But Sandbag, give me your prediction on who's gonna take this game based on this draft.
Oh, based on this draft, are we talking nameplates on or off? Because I feel like
Oh,
that does
like
tell
champions only.
nameplates off. I would say that BLE are able to just hammer home leads, and Zin is going to have a huge amount of trouble trying to get going. He's just going to get walked at often. Olaf gets prio in top lane. The Akali is going to be chipped down. The push is going to be instantaneous, basically, when it comes to Sivir. And I expect to see the Maokai linking up with lanes to move forwards and hassle Zin and try and build leads from that. However, nameplates on, if the game just turns into muckery like it did in the first game, late game is king. When everyone has 10k gold more than they're supposed to, Jinx and Victor are going to use 10k gold better than Sivir Akali. Not to mention the supporting cast in that. So I expect Jan to be able to hold the door and then look to finish the job, but a lot of it comedically is going to like hinge around this Xin Zhao. The autofill jungler is where all your hopes and dreams lie in the early game. So some broad shoulders will be required.
Definitely so. And of course, all the playmaking tools are on the side of Black Lotus Esports. You said it yourself, Zinza is not going to have the easiest time, but it's not like the jungler on the side of Gucci Yang doesn't have any playmaking tools of himself. Zinza can definitely gank in the early game with the dash and the knockup you have. Any extra setup from your lanes is always helpful, and setup there definitely is. Kasante, so many knockups, so many dashes on him, as well as in the bot lane. You've always got that Renata hook as a follow-up, so definitely can look to influence the game.
But the issue lies when I was saying nameplates off is a hypothetical world, right? we're posturing, we're proxying, we're jostling our way around this river fight, and Yan sees an opening, right? She's like, we want to fight. How do you start it, Dessa? How are we kicking off a fight?
Yeah, definitely can
But
prove to be a little bit detrimental.
is it a handshake from Renata or Xin Zhao's forehead as he flies in with Wind Becomes Lightning? That's it. That is all of the engaged tools you have. Renata Ultimate can simply be spaced in the grand majority of the times, just considering how slow the projectile is. So I fear their ability to start fights, and they're more gonna be back foot. They're more gonna be absorbing the fly-in from your Olafs and your Akalis, etc. Which, in a game that goes to absolute pandemonium, is perfectly reasonable. But it's not proactive, which tends to scare me a little bit.
Definitely so. And I think when you look at sort of teams that are proactive or tend to be proactive, it's teams that I tend to favor as well, because I feel like being able to set the pace of the game is so damn important, especially at this level of play. If you can dictate where the team fights are, if you can dictate at what stage in the game they're being taken, you definitely have the advantage. And if you get a lead, great, you can push it. If you don't get a lead, it just means that you get to pick the fights. And if it's outnumbered, you can claw your way back into this game. Definitely something we saw Gucci Yang do in game number 1, and my eyes are going to be on Kansei in that bot lane in game 1, doing an absolute amazing job of getting his team back into the game. And in this game number 2, not gonna be on the Twitch, so I doubt there'll be any sort of flanking Jinx maneuvers, but still can pilot the champion.
Yeah, the flanking Jinx getting greeted with an Olaf axe might be a short-lived flank, despite how entertaining it would be. But the problem lies in that, like we said, you're somewhat pigeonholed into this front-to-back style. You don't have a great way of trying to start things off and be that proactive, be that forward-moving member. So trying to get leads and forcing them to fight you at objectives will be the name of the game for this blue side.
I mean, definitely so. And when you, in my opinion, look at champions like Jinx, right? Amazing scaling alongside the Renata, it can make such a difference in the later stages of the game with a Victor by your side. And Sandbag, we might not have highlighted it, but we saw in game 1 what Breathe did on the Victor, got himself an early lead, and just kind of tore up the side of Black Lotus Esports being the sort of silent prayer in the night for their side. And my eyes are gonna be on Rebreathe, seeing if he can slowly but surely scale himself into the later stages of the game. And maybe this time the Rakan can do a little bit more than face tank the hook and get absolutely blown up by the server.
Yeah, a very different style here, and I think this mid jungle combo will do massive things for the side of both of these squads. If Rebreathe and Savonix are able to link up and get things going and keep Gloomy down, because this is a far more exploitable champion than a Syndra. Syndra can drop creeps, farm with Q, play for shards. Akali can't do that. Akali does not have a fallback. She either can or cannot one combo a backline. She is very binary in that regard. So if you can keep her in a situation where she cannot pose threat to Cons, to Rebreathe, even Savonix in a way, then Black Lotus simply relies on Sivir damage, which did not get done last time.
Definitely so. And I think that just comes with the caveat of Assassins, where Assassins are very sort of one-dimensional. It's either 100 or nothing. And Akali is one of those champions. Syndra, you can still provide some utility with the scatter. You still have some CC. Akali, yeah, you can shroud, that's all well and good, but if you're 0-1-10 and you can't actually do any damage, they just don't care about the shroud. They'll just sit there and be like, alright, cool, now what? So definitely gonna be looking for Gloomy to get ahead in this game. And so far, looking at the runes and summoner spells, nothing too egregious in my opinion. I think it looks all pretty stock standard, but there is a roster change because Flay has managed to finally regroup with the team. They found him wandering in the woods. He was lost, finally brought him back home, and he is going to be in the support role for the side of Gucci.
Will support for change. He was gonna try and fill in the mercenary, has returned home, and is gonna be slobbing in alongside Khan. So a style switch combined with a champ switch combined with a player switch translates to 200 HP on a Nautilus, who is not having a good time in this lane.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how that happens. It is just double range on the side of Gucci, so definitely get the advantage in the push. Fabian takes the bad end of a trade. A good word here, proactive play coming out of play. Already the support change, showing a different playstyle for the sort of Gucci in that bottom lane alongside the Renata as well being down there. So far, no solo kills in the top lane quite yet. But once this wave gets crashed, once it bounces back to Ruzu, that's gonna be his window to potentially look for things. But Oxy is gonna spot it out on the early ward placed down by Flay, which means they know exactly where this Maokai is.
Yep, he is not going to be able to get anything sneaky going down in the bot lane, so expect the full 6 camp moving forwards into that crab. Junglers on opposite sides of the maps mean that we will not be having any early aggression, as Missing Link and Rozu running it back. Expect to see very different results, in my opinion, if they are able to adjust and adapt from that previous game.
I'm hoping so, because to me, a best of 5 series, it is all about adapting. It is all about being able to take what you did wrong last game, did well last game, fix the wrongs, and bring the rights into the next game of the series. Of course, a gank already in the mid lane though.
Yeah, we do have Maokai en route, taking the E in. Gloomy is finding himself in 2 versus 1, just stalling out in that Shroud. Oxy en route, 200 HP in the flash away. Gloomy with the pot ticking will live until the laser finishes the job. The Kench emote flashes on screen in celebration. Savonix and Rebreathe picking up first blood in the mid lane.
Mid-jungle duo coming in clutch for Yang. The cannon will not be coming in clutch, as it does end up going array this time around, but a good early kill coming on through, and it was a good early kill, but I have to question the usage of the Zinza either before the escape came out of Gloomy. I feel like if you're a little bit more patient, you can definitely not just expend the flash there from Sovanix, but they end up picking the kill. Whether it's worth it because you double flashed in the mid and jungle is a debate for another day, but kill lead over to Gucci Yang, early gold into the victor, and we saw it in game number 1, so Sandbag, this can potentially get very scary very quickly.
A debate for another day. All right, I'm willing to take that debate today. Absolutely. We have Hex Core upgrades combined with 400 gold, combined with not needing to TP thanks to Rebreathe having that better reset and Gloomy having to expend his. So it's no sums Gloomy versus a worse buy versus push out and re-TP whenever Rebreathe wishes. Absolutely. Savonix Flash every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
This time around ends up coming to fruition as well, and yeah, definitely a trade they are willing to take. Dragon are gonna be under the cards as well. A Hextech Dragon to start us off with in this game number 2. Some extra attack speed, some extra ability haste will definitely not hurt, especially when you're talking about things like a Victor, you're talking about things like a Jinx on the side of Gucci, and so if they can look for this early Drake, they should be able to use that attack speed to their advantage. But so far, we did see in the early levels push go over to the side of Gucci, so definitely can look for it, but with the wave state of the bot lane at the moment, the side of Black Lotus Esports are gonna be the ones who are looking to walk away with this Drake, but Sandbag Sovanix is around, so if they are looking to contest this, this can potentially get spicy.
Could do, but it looks like he's just trying to finish his camp. His Savonix, he does end up flipping over to that level 5, connecting onto that mid laner as the Ghost has popped Blue, retreating away from that Chaos Storm as now Khan's on the flank. Blue under fire. It is Savonix and Oxy both dropping dangerously low, but with the bailout in tow, it is Gloomy next up. The perfect execution, exhausted, meaning Savonix will live. The hook finishes the job as Jinx is going to continue firing. She gets excited and now run for the hills. Khans with one more rocket auto will finish the job, and he does get it. Double kill over to Jinx. Flay today setting it up. Finishing them off is the Maokai, cutting the party short, but it is still gonna be a 2-4-2.
Kanze is so damn excited and he just could not hide it. Ends up getting the reset early on, and Rebreathe being level 6 here is such a massive deal. Ends up zoning out blue entirely at the start of this fight. Kanze pops the ghost early on, and Sovanix just getting the bail out there, almost getting taken out as well, but the shuriken and the pop is not quite enough. Blue ends up flashing forward to try get out of the range of the zap. I'm not entirely sure if that's worth it considering you're flashing into 3 people, but nonetheless end up getting the double kill for the Jinx. Kanze picked himself up 2 early kills, and definitely gonna be looking for this Jinx to be accelerated, looking to scale on in, and definitely a trade the side of Gucci Yang are willing to take, but Dragon still goes to absolutely nobody.
Dragon still up for grabs for whoever wishes, and the 4-man unit of Yang moving in to try and contest it. They certainly wish it, and as you highlighted in the replay, all right, Fabian, no flash, remember. He can't find a simple escape, and he is going to be caught. No longer donating it over into the Marksman's pockets, because the Zinzao finishes it off. It is going to be Drake started up anyways, and as was highlighted in the replay, when Blue can't hit, fight looks rough. And Blue was zoned by the Chaos Ultimate, then he was zoned by the bot lane move, then he was flashing in to try and get involved somewhere, and if he is using aggressive tools, then he doesn't have anything left to escape, and it's a very short-lived Sivir.
Definitely. So Blue not having the start he had in game number 1 this time around. This time around is the other AD carry on the side of Gucci and Kanze, the one with the early kills coming on through. Although looking at CS numbers, very similar across the board, although you can see Gloomy taking a bit of a hit in the mid lane with it being the range versus melee matchup. But meanwhile, Gucci Yang doing a very aggressive invade down towards this bottom side, being traded by invading the top side, although a fight between Cassante and Maokai.
Yep, scrapping it out, level 8 versus 7. Cassante goes all out, and a massive chunk of HP evaporates from the Maokai, and Kofo strike number 3 gets the auto off and the flip onto this Olaf. It is now Gloomy under fire with the Chaos Storm, taking that E in. It is Ruzu and Rebreathe finding their exit. Footwork for the shield as the Olaf pops his ultimate as he fights his way forwards, marching. Does he have the damage? He gets it done, even through the flash. Ruzu cut down next. The 2-man melee squad brings the hammer down for BLE. As Savonix is able to find a nice redirect with the flash. Wind becomes lightning, but doesn't find the movement in. Gloomy will escape, and it is dominance from the solo lanes of BLE.
Gloomy gets away with the skin off his teeth, and Black Lotus Esports with the top side winning play. Missing Link ends up getting so much value out of the Ragnarok, ends up just living on a sliver of HP, but you're playing Olaf, baby. You wanna live exactly on the edge of your health bar. The stronger you get, or the less health bar you have, the stronger you definitely do get. So a winning play in the top side for the side of Black Lotus Esports. This time around, it is not the bot lane that's winning, it's the Olaf that's ahead. Ruzu with a great play, great vision, and great awareness from him to find the gank onto Oxy, although Oxy is here to return the favor.
Yeah, Wave is stacking, but the Olaf can make short work of that if he's looking to find the Undertow connecting. Remember, no ultimate, it was already expended. Undertow not connecting this time with the Maokai ultimate will. Savonix en route, trying to get his top laner to safety, and he will do so. Crescent Guard has been popped now, but Missing Link's gonna be duking it out once more. A sliver and a shield. This Olaf will not drop as he goes 2-0 up. This is a completely different story from first game.
Definitely so. Sovanix in the right place, but at the wrong damn time, just ends up getting taken out in the 2v1. Ruzu being too low to help out his jungler this time on around, and kills going to both sides. Very even matchup this time around, more so than in this game we had in the game number 1. Of course, again, it is gonna be Missing Link this time, who's gotta put on the big boy pants, gotta put on the carry shoes, 2-0 on this Olaf. He's the one with the kills. He's the one with the early lead. But we saw what Ruzu's Cassante did in game number 1. So definitely Ruzu is not out of the game by any means necessary. He is still very much in it. Cassante can always make himself useful. But Summonix looking for a bot lane playing. You see him on the minimap there. Tried to step up, noticed that he was warded and said, I'm not going to waste my time here. I'm just going to head on out.
Yep. Notice the movement out of the bot lane changing, and okay, information inferred, we'll just move back towards our clear. Making a beeline towards this mid lane. The tree is lying in wait. Both of these junglers poking and prodding with no camps currently up for this Xin. I expect him to try and take another look, and indeed he does. Trying to catch the rotation, but not in time.
He is looking, but the blindfold is over his eyes. There's nothing to see, nothing to look for. Although the pressure is coming out of Black Lotus Esports, you can see they have the prio in the bot lane with the Sivir, which means the waves can just disappear, using the prio to get themselves over to the bot lane river. But Herald in the mid lane, though, Oxy looking for an aggressive play out to rebreathe.
Yep, pushing forwards, trying to make that quick cash in before that 14-minute mark, knowing that he has a little bit of priority. Gloomy in range for the local gold on top of it, so able to get a nice little payday, maybe some more gold before this war effort. But Blue has the spell shield, trying to fake him out with the zap, with the E, not throwing the handshake out quite yet. And with the ward, throwing out the ultimate. Gloomy under fire, Chaos Storm on his own feet, perfect execution to safety. And it is a Kali force back, but has TP in hand.
And that's a great move from Rebreathe. You can see just standing his ground, knowing how effective his champion can be. Does not run away, but a fight in the bot lane.
Rappin' River, it is the Maokai under fire, popped up, and with a move from the bot lane, Khan says thank you very much. Getting excited, waiting for the zap for the slow. It is a dredge line here from Fabian, the TP en route, but that'll still only make it 3 versus 4. Gloomy's gonna try and find an exit, immediately shrouding. No ultimate from the previous fight as they flip over the wall. Connecting onto Savonix, and I have seen way too many Akalis get way too hypey and take it, so the pause was there, but it is gonna be Yang picking up the Drake, their second of the game, as they continue to push the pace.
The pace is being pushed. Sandbag, I was holding my breath when Klumi hit that shuriken. I was like 50-50 whether he's gonna take it or not, but good to see that he opts out, especially with the Renata being around. So even if he does end up getting the kill, the potential bailout with the reset can just bring Rebreathe back onto life. And Gloomy not having the effect he wanted to have on this Akali early on into the game, with the early effect in the kills and assist department that Rebreathe managed to get, he is gonna have a very early re-entries in the play, and definitely gonna be looking to push this mid lane on, and gonna be looking to use the prio to his advantage, and gonna be looking to potentially shut down this Akali very early on into the game.
The kills, yes. The assists, yes. However, even more than that for the mid laner, take a quick look at his CS. 129 to 88. By my math, that is going to be a hold. That no time for math when the Nautilus is under fire. 3 men will pile on top as they will continue to chop him down. Fabian down once more, and picking up a significant lead in mid CS, and not to mention that KP. This we might have to find another. Oxy throwing out the Maokai ultimate, but it does actually get a tag, so not the complete waste here. Khan's chunked down to 2/3, but no tool available for this Herald fight.
Herald fight is gonna be coming on in. You can see both of the teams looking. They're hunting Herald 2000 HP, but it is gonna be the Gucci squad making a run for the hills. Herald reset its HP. Ruse is definitely looking to play aggressive here. Does have that all out as well. And both of these teams just pondering, looking, staring at each other. But Black Lotus Esports gonna be the one who walk away with this Herald, despite it being the Gucci Yang squad who was the one who originally started it. So a good job, good awareness from the side of Black Lotus Esports, picking up the Herald and potentially can look for this mid lane tower with that Herald, but actually in the mid lane.
But in the meantime, it is a bit of a scrap, but that's not even the most important part. I want to highlight, look at this Victor. There it is, right up on your screen. First turret down. He dumps 2 waves underneath bot turret and single-handedly finishes that off. That is local gold. That is double wave. That is every single payday that he wants. because they dropped Herald and ended up getting more than a Herald's worth of damage on structures.
And that's a needlessly large rod, picked up with all the gold that he ended up just getting. Dark Seal as well, although no stacks on it quite on yet. In and this Victor is gonna be an absolute monster heading into this mid and late game stages of this game. So far, Herald ended up being picked up by Oxyconey, so keep your eyes on the tree. Keep your eyes on this big Maokai to see where he ends up plotting that. Personally, I'd like to see it go into the mid lane, especially if you can crack that tower in the mid lane. You can look to extend your vision line. You can look to extend where you can step, where you cannot step, and most importantly, give yourself that pressure to potentially make yourself some aggressive invades into the enemy jungle. But you can see Gloomy as well, hunting and looking for any advantage this Akali can find. Sandbag, we're finally seeing first items of the game come through for pretty much everybody on the board as well.
Pretty much everybody's gotten their hands on it. Obviously, supports on the minimum wage aren't going to be able to finish the job yet, but everything seemingly standard. The anti-heal is something that's worth highlighting for Ruzu. He's seen the absolute silliness that has come out twice so far from this Olaf, missing Link living on slivers thanks to his innate lifesteal, plus that completion of the Ravenous Hydra. So looking to cut that down, and everything else is stock standard. But again, I want to say this once. 18 minutes, 150 CS, 56 CS versus 112. That lead will continue to just blossom for the side of Yang. So that's your late game insurance.
This time around, they do have the late game insurance, although keep your eyes on Oxy. He is behind enemy lines, potentially looking to shut down this Victor, but the entire squad of Gucci Yang said, "Get out of my jungle," and it ends up being Oxy who has to just run away, go to the other side of the river this time around, and now it is Oxy who is in the position that Gucci Yang was a minute ago.
Slapping him overhead with the Maokai Q, the sapling here to contribute as well as they continue to just jockey over this ward. He does get his prize at the cost of a couple hundred HP, but it's going to be cleared in kind. So, yeah, it's a bit of a lull state considering we have time to focus on two junglers hitting each other over the head for a pink ward.
Definitely so, but in my opinion, the side of Gucci don't mind this at all. Potential engage, you can just tell whenever assassin players are stepping up that high, they're definitely looking for something. This time, Pro Belt only on the wave. But speaking of the lull state, in my opinion, it does benefit the side of Gucci a lot more because you're looking at a Victor, you're looking at a Jinx slowly scaling. Kanze already got those early kills. He's 3-on-1 Kraken Slayer in his inventory. I've engaged in the mid lane though.
Connecting, and it is going to be a defusal. They look for a little something, but it is Savonix trying to poke and prod. Good old ARAM temporarily as three men just kind of push and pull, but not much more to come of it.
Not much more at the moment, although keep your eyes on your mini-map because the Herald has been dropped in the mid lane.
They look to find their fight. Nautilus is under fire here. Savonix and Khan's trying to finish him off, and once the lethal comes through, Jinx gets excited. Crescent Guard connecting onto that back line, and the damage flies through. Super Mega Death Rocket will finish it off, and it is Ruzu and Khan's finishing it off. Three men finishing the job. Drake will more than likely be theirs, and good Chi in a very comfortable position, looking to just continue marching this game forward slowly and inexorably.
Kanze again picking up the kills, gets excited once more on the tower as well, can look to get the next tower on in Dragon. Like you said, gonna be going over to you, Gucci, and giving them soul point on this Dragon contest. Kanze again getting excited off the tower, but it is finally them who said we've had enough. They're gonna be the ones to find the engage, gonna be the ones who end up getting the better of that team fight, and Kanze doing so much work out of that back line. The Super Mega Death Rocket snipe onto blue as well as he's making his way out was just icing on the cake. The side of Black Lotus Esports though stepping up towards this Baron, and this is a team that I would not at all put past flipping a Baron and going 50-50 for it.
Just looking to get something going. It doesn't really matter what, but it just has to be something, because in a world where Soul Point has already been acquired. The scaling, I would say, favors Yang, and a map state that doesn't necessarily facilitate any early kind of preemptive action that can be taken from BLE. They need to just get something going. Even if it's a suboptimal play, they need something to happen to really get themselves into this game, because they're just slowly going to get choked out over time, it feels.
Yeah, definitely. So Rune is finished up for Kanze as well, 2 items on this Jinx. And yeah, I definitely do agree with you. This is the time where if you are inside of Black Lotus, you need to say, look, this might not be like a 50% chance of winning the fight, but at this point, they need to take like a 20-30% chance, I feel like, because they are the ones who are falling behind. Speaking of CS numbers, 207 for Kanze. The CS in the mid lane just keeps on imploding. Already seeing Gloomy sitting 141 to 191. Shadow Flame finished up for Rebreathe as well. 2 items on this Victor. You can see the vision control for now is on side Black Lotus Esports towards that top side and towards that Baron. But Rebreathe is just looking to create so much pressure on these side lanes.
Just continuing to march their way forwards, continuing to press, continuing to make them on the back foot. And if you're able to just stall out, wait for 3 more minutes, pick up Soul, there's a very clear path to victory here for Good Chief.
Definitely so, and the clear path is the path of the mid lane and the AD carry, the golden way, so to speak. Missing Link though, he was stepping up in a way where I thought he might have been looking for the Ragnarok pop, but ends up just not wanting to take that 1v1. He's took that 1v1 before, he knows exactly how it goes, and in the past hasn't gone very favorable for him. So this time around, gonna opt out of it. He learned from game 1 not to mess with Ruse in the side lane.
Yeah, he's once bitten, twice shy. He knows better, and as
Never
we say
mind.
that, he just marches his way underneath the structure with the Ragnarok. He's not gonna go any further. I think he might have been tuned in. He heard that one, didn't like the disrespect, and just fought him for the sake of fighting him.
Yeah, definitely. So jinxed him a little bit there, but if you look at the trade, it is Ragnarok, it is Ghost for Missing Link, it is probably a dash or 2 for Ruzu, but that's about it. And we all know what sort of cooldowns Cassante dashes on, so definitely not a big investment coming out from Ruzu. It is gonna be his flash coming up in right about a few seconds as well, so definitely look for a couple of insect plays from this Cassante. All Out is gonna be available as well. And this is, compared to game 1 Sandbag, this is like going to a kindergarten versus going to a retirement home.
Well, which one's which here? This is the retirement home versus the kindergarten of the mayhem of game 1?
Yeah, like retirement homes, you know, they're like slow and methodical, you know, it's like slow action. Kindergartens are just kids screaming, yelling all over the place. Like, it is swift, it is rampant, and not what we have in game 2.
True, controlled, like measured, right? It's measured.
Yeah.
It's nice, easy, and stable styles of games here, and it feels like she's just gonna slowly march it down. So this is where I get to throw it to you, Mr. Analyst. What is the tool back in? If you're trying to inject some life into this retirement home, how or where do we do it to try and get the blood pumping a little bit?
It has to be government funding, man. Like, these taxes gotta go. No, but all jokes aside, I feel like it is gonna have to be the engagers on side Black Lotus Esports. So looking at the Maokai, you're looking at a potential Gloomy flank, right? We've said that the Victor is gonna do some damage, already 2.5 items in his inventory, but Gloomy is by no means out of the game. If you can find a Shuriken flip onto the enemy AD carry, if you can potentially find Kanze without him getting a reset back, you can definitely one-shot this Jinx. And Kanze, no exhaust, no defensive summoner spells outside of the Flash and Ghost, but Baron now started up, and I said earlier, Black Lotus Esports are the type of team to 50-50 these. Definitely what they're looking to do here.
Yeah, and they are off vision. They get the TP, which is a lot of times the prize you're looking for, meaning the next stick will be useful. Throwing out the Maokai ultimate, a very nice chance. However, just make sure that they don't hit it in kind, which, there they are. In fact, just going to be starting it up of their own, and they don't have the vision to contest it. They don't know. There it is. It's going to be popped Turning around, look at the damage though, 6k HP, looking for a flip. Oxy has flash, has smite, he finds his way in, and he picks up the Baron. The secure comes through, Maokai dies a valiant death, and that was time preciously bought with the life of their jungler.
Black Lotus Esports, this is what they needed. I said they're not the team, they're the team that doesn't care about flipping Baron, although 1v1 in the top lane.
Smite ready, smite ready, smite ready, smite ready. That's a good teammate right there. We love to see it. However, what he has done is he has saved it for this Drake secure. So there's no way that this one gets stolen because he has saved his smite for this, right? With other jungler dead, he but anyway, now with the fight starting off into the river, 2-man takeover, trying to deal with the Olaf under the back lines. Breeze running for the hills, no mana to speak of, but the reinforcements are here. Khans gets excited. It is up to Blue to try and turn this one around, as he does indeed chop them up. BLE Gloomy sets them up, and BLE Blue knocks them down, picking themselves up the team fight win off the back of the soul secured for Yang.
Oxy just put so much team morale into the boys with the steel flame. Just unfortunately getting caught out right at the start of the fight. The bailout and the hostile takeover was good, but the back line, you can see Rebreathe, no mana, just runs out of resources on the Victor Fabian with a beautiful dredge line. And look at who the gold went over to, plus 1,000 onto the Sivir on blue. And if you're talking about carries, you're talking about the late game, this is exactly what you want the gold on. And with the 1k injected, he's actually gonna be above gold when it comes to Kanze, so definitely a good pickup and the way they need it back into this game.
Ruzu trying to find himself a 2 versus 1. He has Sylvanix waiting in the wings, Flay today out on the side here, and now with the members collapsing, Cassante goes all out and Oxy goes down. Slowing the hype train just a little bit here is Ruzu, linking up with the squad. And with that Cassante ultimate combined with a Cloud Soul, when he takes the fight, you can't opt out anymore. You must elect to fight him with all of the stickiness the move speed provides.
Yeah, definitely. So, and I tend to sort of I tend to say a lot that Cloud Soul is like, in my opinion, not a great soul, but look who it's on. Look at the side of Gucci. You're talking about a Cassante, you're talking about a Victor who's gonna pop Chaos Storm and run circles around your team. Missing Link now under threat in the top lane.
Link trying to find his way onto Ruzu and Flay today. Undertow connecting, but the Jinx en route with the extra damage. He gets his prize with the bailout, saves the day. TP will be late on the draws. Now Fabian marches away forward, but is shredded up by the Hyper Jinx. Into the back line he goes. Gloomy able to find his man. Cuts down the marksman, and Blue will find his feet. He only gets one going, though, before he, too, is dropped. 4 men dead for BLE. They lose their bot lane, but win the fight, do Yang.
And this is what I was talking about earlier. Gloomy, yes, he's got 2 items, but if he finds a shuriken flip onto absolutely anyone, they will just blow up. Rebreathe, just using the Cloud Soul to the best of it.
There it is. Savonix taking it in, working his way forwards onto Oxy, trying to find the pop-up.
Oh my god.
Become lightning, throwing a Gore Drinker. Stunned up underneath the structure, though. The damage from the Maokai is no joke. He's continuing to press, but the space has been bought. The inhib will be chunked, but they do not stick around to finish the job with Fabian here to reinforce.
Fabian bringing the support they needed, and missing Link being kind of in no man's land here. Team is nowhere to be seen. Pops the Ragnarok, says, alright, let me try get a kill back. Places, no, no, no. Kanze giving them the support he needs and just free fires onto Fabian. Burns down the Nautilus. The Shuriken flip is very good from Gloomy to find a kill back, but ends up being a double kill for Rebreathe. More gold into the Victor. Again, death cap finished up here on the Victor, and 3.5 items already doing so much damage.
Okay, throwing out a bit of an ultimate on the Khans, connecting once more, but bailout just finishes it off before it comes up. Flay today next on the chopping block here. Gloomy's really starting to reek. The damage comes through, flashing away is Flay today. It's now blue. Savonics under fire. Flash E trying to find this one forwards. Flashing away is blue. Gloomy's going to get connected with that spear. Impaled and shut down. Fabian trying to spy space for his marksman. The TPs on TPs on TPs. Everyone's partying up in the top lane. Hostile takeover already committed, but doesn't connect on the blue. Now with the team fight popping off, it is Ragnarok in the back line. Can the bailout come through in time? And it does. Savonics and Blue going blow for blow, duking it out, but Ruzu here to make it an unfair fight. Fabian next up on the chopping block. Oxy has nothing left to give. Flay today stalling, and Savonics off-rolling, no problem. Starts the fight and finishes it with an ace.
Oxy is just too damn late for this fight, and it ends up being Savonix who buys all the space, all the time necessary for his carries. And just look at the TPs coming in. Missing Link immediately, Harrows onto Flayday again, going for the Renata, but the bailout is so damn good, keeps his support alive, and Savonix jumps straight onto the Silver. No support for Blue there. Oxy is just here for the party. He said everyone else is in, I want in on this too, and ends up dying for his sins. But he was there, he died with the homies, and ends up being a Baron picked up for the side of Guqiang alongside a 5,000 gold lead.
I absolutely adore the description here, by the way, of this being a turn-based game. I don't know if you caught that in chat, but that's genuinely a turn-based fight. It was an engage from Savonix, followed by a TP from BLE, followed by a TP from Yan. These are going one at a time, incrementally, just kind of one-upping each other. And then BLE ran out of cards. Unfortunately, they ran out of cards. Their only thing left to play is not a card, but a coin. And the flip has begun. 10k left on the Elder. They're looking to just flip it.
Elder Dragon coming on through Gloomy though.
Gloomy with the space. The Elder is going to be finished off, and now the burn to turn the tides. Maokai is able to grab this one up, trying to find their way through this fight. It is going to be the burn finishing the job. Akali down. Victor also finished off, but both sides can tend to just back on away.
Elder Dragon being secured here, and look at the items. Yes, it is an Elder Dragon, but Elder Dragon not on Gloomy, someone who could definitely use the buff. 4 items onto Kanzei now, 3.5 items still on Rebreathe. If we can quickly support to the gold, I would love to see if he's based yet or not. No, he has not, so 1.8k still sitting on that, but this Elder is gonna be absolutely massive for Blue. He is the one who's got the gold, he's the one who's got the 4 items, he's the one whose boomerangs are gonna be bouncing in between the members of Guqiang. And now the side of Black Lotus Esports looking to use this Elder and looking to push down some of these towers on the side of Guqiang.
Trying to continue the pressure. They flip it, they pick it up, and now they're looking to finish the job before the time runs out. Oxy under fire, the Chaos Storm burns the tree to cinders. Play today, throwing up the emotes is well-deserved on that one. Maybe the optimism and the hype starting to get to the jungler at BLE.
Hey man, he's took one Baron, they got the Elder, he was like, I'm going all in, baby. Ends up getting taken out and ends up dying for his sins. But Elder still in the pockets on the rest of the members of Black Lotus Esports, but there is no objectives on the map. There's no reason for Guqiang to fight, and because they have the Baron buff, they're the ones who can sort of just stop the mayhem. But Ruzu in the side lane, all on his lonesome, could potentially be in trouble.
He can loop around to his team in the mid lane. It's going to be a split fight here with flanks on flanks on flanks. Fabian under fire, unfortunately, once more isolated and demolished. K'Sante now marching into these back lines, facing off against an Elder team and still fearless. It's going to be up to Blue to get it done. Throwing out the ultimate here as Gloomy goes golden. Throwing out the ultimate as well. Ragnarok's going to be popped. They finish it off with the dragon, the bailout. Gloomy going to be burning, but not in time. Play today is down. Now Blue under fire with the bounces. Ruzu going to be trying to turn this one around onto the back line. Stopwatch will only buy a second, and Savonix is here to finish the job. Missing Link, forced out of the fight. Oxy in the middle of 4 and abandoned to the wolves. Blue team marches forwards. Elder didn't cut it, and it is good chi with only the solos left to manage.
This gold is too damn much. Looking to end the game, but with no wave left, it's just gonna have to back on out. The wallet is just so damn fat on the side of Gucci Yang. They said Elder, we don't need Elder. We have the Victor, we've got the Jinx, we've got the items, we've got the gold, and now they've got the kills, they've got the team fight victory, and got about everything that you could ever want at this stage of the game, and definitely are looking to be the contenders to take this game number 2 as well. And Sandbag, if they do, it is gonna be match point for the side of Gucci Yang and potential 3-0.
I'm gonna stop you right there. We are not at match point talk right now. These teams made the last game 44 minutes, 2 base races, and a partridge and a pear tree. There's still a lot of League of Legends left to be played on this one, as BLE have still large volumes of damage.
We are caster cursing.
No, stop it. Behave. We are not caster cursing anything. We are expecting more content. The last one went to 44. I want 45 out of this one. I want BLE to hold the line and find their fight, because if Khans can drop, then you're up to rebreathe with the rotations. But they have a second threat. That's the issue. So it is a matter of trying to find isolation as Gloomy. Don't have that perfect execution and Tofo strikes connecting. But yeah, Ruzu is not the man that you look for, considering Oxy and Gloomy managed to get about a third, and now they're short-handed on the other side of the map.
Yeah, Ruzu again with the split just creates so much damn pressure for the side of Gucci Yang, and with him being the Kazante has about 1,000,000 HP, which he can turn into 1,080,000. So, you know,
We are flashing for the engage. I'm loving this out of Savonix, and Blue had no idea. Blindsided by the jungler of Good Chi as they continue to find their way in creative spots onto Blue.
Blue again just falls, and 50-second on his death timer. Still left. Missing Link in the side lane though.
Missing Link, but it's 5 versus 1. No amount of healing is going to get you out of this. BLE crumbles at the last hurdle. The last reserves are now must be spent. Do they have anything left? Regline not connecting. Victor and Olaf continuing to march their way forwards. Ruzu marching his way on into the backline, but stunned up is Gloomy, forced to go golden to wait out the exhaust. Oxy as well, trying to duke it out with his fellow jungler, but they don't have the carries, they don't have it in them. And Good Chi Yang go 2-0 up, move on to series point.
Gucci Yang are gonna be 2-0 in the lead, end up taking the game for themselves, and it ends up being off the back of the AD carry, ends up being off the back of the mid laner, and the 2 carries on their side truly making a difference. And what a game, what 2 games we've had for ourselves. First game, open Nexus is on both teams, 44 minutes. This time around, 39 minutes of absolute mayhem, blows for blows, back and forth, and Sandbag, I am here for it.
Absolutely. They're putting on a show here in the SLE playoffs. It's a great time to be a fan of this league, and it's an even better time to be a fan of Good Chi. Continuously finding openings, continuously finding ways to scrap it out, and despite the best efforts of a Maokai swipe, of a burger flip elder that goes the other way, of pressure continuously mounting and getting boxed into their base at points in time, it's not over till the Nexus drops, and Good Chi will not let their Nexus drop. They will let everything go before that happens, but that is something they will not offer.
Definitely not. Gucci Yang looking to take the world by storm and looking to take this series by storm as well. But Sandbag, if I'm not mistaken, I'm seeing some sad messages in chat. I believe you cannot pick up the next game.
Unfortunately, I am not going to be able to continue this roller coaster. Game 1 was all the content that I had in me, and game 2 was the last reserve, so I am going to be stepping out. However, reinforcements are en route. The solo cast is not on the cards. You will have Itchy on his way, so for those of you joining us, thank you very much for joining. We are going to be cutting to a quick break for the substitution to come on through, tagging them in to close out what is guaranteed to be a reverse sweep, right?
I mean, give me your series prediction. No, before I let you off,
Okay.
before I let you leave, I want to hear the series prediction of Sandbag right now.
The series
Before we go
prediction
to
is
the break.
3-1 because they can't keep getting away with this. Black Lotus Esports are too good a squad to keep getting stuff right at the end. They keep cracking the base, pushing them right to the very limit, swiping their objectives, beating them in team fights, and then just through some nonsense, Good Chi will not yield and hold the door. They cannot keep getting away with this. It's going to be a 3-1. They will crack their way through it, but I think Good Chi have looked just too solid to be able to clearly overcome. So I give game 4 to BLE, but the series goes the way of Chi, in my opinion.
You heard the prediction. Next game over to Black Lotus, but the series win over to Gucci. We are going to cut into a short little break, like Sandbag said, to get ourselves ready, to get the players ready, and of course, for some more excitement on the SLE channel. We're going to be right back, guys. Don't go absolutely anywhere.
I lied awake for days, counting all the ways I died. Everything I couldn't save, buried down, still half alive. It's got me crawling in my skin, but no one's coming out to hold me close. Pouring out the gasoline, yeah, I've been making friends with all these girls, and I got nothing left to lose. Fight to the future. It's not me to turn and run. Met the bitter truth and I choked it down. Left a bad taste on my tongue, but my appetite's been growing now. I can see you crawling in your skin, but no one's coming out to hold you close. I'm pouring out the gasoline, so say hello to all my ghosts.
Welcome back, everybody, to the third and potential last game of the first series of today. Gucciang versus Black Lotus Esports. So far, it's been Gucciang domination thus far, but I am being joined by a replacement for Mr. Sandbag. Ichi Gotti, the man himself, has saved me from the despairs of solo casting. Ichi, how excited are you for this game?
Well, it's 2-0 right now, so either we get BLE bringing it back, or I can do one game and then go. So, I'm feeling pretty good.
Do you believe in the reverse sweep? Do you trust?
My pick'ems would like it because I put like 8 reverse sweeps. But from the little bit that I've seen so far, I'm not too sure. Looking like we're getting into draft.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. Of course, the pick'ems are important as well, but what's even more important is gonna be Black Lotus's performance in this game because this is the single elimination stage, baby. This is where you cannot afford to mess up. They've already messed up twice. They dropped both of the first game, so underway in draft of game number 3. Jarvan so far being picked up for the side of Gucci Yang in that first pick. We are seeing the LeBlanc hover, but one does not get baited by the hovers. It is going to be the Rel
Oh,
locked in instead, and a quick LeBlanc pick coming on through.
okay, cool. LeBlanc is, I believe, a comfort champ for Gloomiux, known for his Akali, so it's just assassins in general. Not sure. Looking at the last game, why do you think they made this adaptation?
I feel like it's just because the Akali didn't feel too prominent in the early game. Losing lane as Akali to someone like Victor, I feel like never really feels that good. But this time around is going to be on the LeBlanc, who can look to influence the map a lot more than an Akali can. A lot more mobility in the kit of a LeBlanc. And you said it yourself, Ichi. Gloomy definitely likes his assassins.
We see Syndra coming in for the side of Yang. Standard control mage for, is it Rebreathe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Syndra very good at the moment as well. We see the Azir hover. I'm assuming that is Savonix, the jungler at the moment, as a Sivers coming in. Looking at that comp so far, we have J4 going in, Syndra, Sivir speed boost. Seems fairly standard as a Graves instantly comes in.
That is a quick Graves looking. Graves, of course, being quite good of a champion at the moment. And you can see the side of Black Lotus, they drafted pretty much the same thing for the first 2 games. The only champion that ended up changing was indeed the Syndra. Did get banned away in that game number 2. So this time, they've tried it twice, lost with it twice. They said, screw this, we're gonna throw out the playbook. We need to write something new. We need it fast, and it's gonna be the Graves LeBlanc Rel. Entirely new champions, entirely new playstyle. And what are your sort of expectations do you have in this second banning phase? What do you want for the side of Black Lotus to take away?
So I'm looking at their comp. I'm seeing that Yang are decently scaling again, pretty standard. We see Black Lotus going for their sort of trademark mid-game aggression, I'd say. We have a Graves that can look to invade the J4. We have a LeBlanc, which it's a harder matchup in the Syndra, but you know, mobility can go in, do some stuff in the early, look to snowball. Can also play with jungler. I'm looking at the side of Black Lotus thinking that they want to invade or basically make plays within this mid Graves together, LeBlanc be able to CC. I think what I want them to take away is team fighting. So we see the Renata, the Nautilus disengage as a Seraphine pick comes in instantly. That's interesting.
It's an immediate Seraphine pick coming through. You wanted to take away the team fighting, they did exactly that. The Nautilus and Renata both going to be banned away. Of course, they did end up picking up the Renata last game, so it is a good ban. Bard coming through. This is, I believe, the first Bard we've seen thus far.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So we see as the comps start to round out now, that Seraphine we can presume is going to go bot, most likely with Rel, unless there's some interesting things going on. Graves jungle, and we see Rumble coming in from the side of Yang. That's a pretty good team fight comp. You got Bard ult to go in, J4 to lock them all up, Sivir to speed everyone up. Syndra has really good zone control here. Rumble ult coming in as we see an Ivan hover. I'm not sure where that would go. Potentially, that could be Graves top, you know?
Well,
Okay.
never mind.
Glad. Fair.
You got baited by the hovers.
Cool. Yeah, this is an interesting one to see how it go. Both teams pivoting more for team fight towards the end. The Seraphine being able to look for ults, the Kled speed up potentially to match the Sivir. All in versus Rumble. Yeah, what are your thoughts on the way these two comps look?
So far, I do like what Black Lotus have done. They've tried the same thing twice. It didn't work. They said, screw it, we're gonna try something new. How the comp goes together, I'm not exactly sure on this LeBlanc. It is gonna give a lot of early game aggression, but it's gonna be hard to pilot into the later stages of the game when there's a Sivir on the other side.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Rumble Jarvan combo, and now there's a Bard as well, which means it's gonna be Bard ultimate into J4 engage into Rumble ult, with Syndra and Sivir both having backline damage, but there is a lot of shields on the side of Black Lotus Esports and a lot of high burst damage.
Yeah, especially with the Graves with the amount of armor he can bring. Less important with the Syndra Rumble being able to go on them, but the Seraphine ult into a Kled ult with the Rel is really nice. And then the Seraphine shielding for the Graves as well potentially might be able to get some good long fights going on later on. However, the side of Yang, their comp feels a lot easier to pilot, minus the Bard. I'm looking at these two comps. What are your thoughts on the way this game's going to be? Because I see a thing that Black Lotus have done that they've done the last two games that I'm wondering how you feel about.
I'm expecting a lot of early game aggression coming out of the top lane. This is basically, like you said, what they've done for the past two games. Put blue onto a sort of supportive utility safe ADC. Last time it was the Sivir in game one, it was the Sivir in game two. This time it is gonna be the Seraphine alongside the Rel. Gonna be a lot of topside aggression as well. How do you personally feel if there's a lot of topside aggression about the 2v2 between Rumble and Jarvan in the early game when it comes to the Rumble Jarvan versus Graves Kled? Who do you think is the winners in that?
It's hard. It depends how well I'd say the side of Yang can turn. Rumble's damage really sort of spikes around about level 5, 6, up the way till 9. He can do a lot, but Kled can go in earlier. I feel like I'm going to give it to the side of Black Lotus in the actual 2v2s. The Jarvan engage onto Graves could be good, but if they go on Kled, he remounts. If they go on Graves, he has a lot of armor smokescreen. If they can chain CC on the Graves, maybe. But I think in the standard 2v2, at least before level 6, potentially between 6 and 9, I'd give it to the side of Black Lotus. And then after 6 and 9, I'd probably give it to the side of Yang. Before like 2 items, I think.
Yeah, that's
It's
definitely
interesting.
fair.
It's interesting to see, though. Definitely from the side of Black Lotus, you've got two solo laners, LeBlanc and Kled, that really want to snowball and start getting going. You have Syndra and Rumble that scale, I'd say, arguably better, in my opinion, on this. But it's not like they can't go toe-to-toe, so... Yeah, It's nice to see the Seraphine scaling coming in from the side of Black Lotus. I worry that if the Black Lotus take too long to start snowballing, turning it on, and they don't force errors out of Yang, the game could go the way it's been previously, where Yang just get ahead naturally through scaling and just win outright through the champs that they've picked. Definitely going to be on the execution of Black Lotus on this one, but we'll see, because it's not like Yang haven't been making mistakes throughout the series that they definitely can capitalize on.
Yeah, definitely. So both teams have been making mistakes. I think in the top side 2v2, and if we go back to that discussion, in my opinion, there's so much damage coming out from Graves and Kled. Like you said it yourself, pre-6. If they can focus down one target, whether it is the Rumble, whether it's the Jarvan, I feel like they're just going to outright one-shot them before those items start to come on through. But of course, you always have the trump card, the wild card of the LeBlanc in the mid lane. LeBlanc can move a lot easier than the Syndra can, especially in the early game, especially after 6. So definitely you're gonna have the LeBlanc move before the Syndra, which does mean it is gonna go from a 2v2 into a 3v2. And if that's not communicated properly on the side of Gucci, can definitely be troublesome to play against.
Definitely feel like it's going to be interesting to see how the LeBlanc can maneuver this lane. LeBlanc Syndra is, I'd say, arguably a skill matchup. Syndra outscales, but LeBlanc can do some stuff. The issue with it from LeBlanc's side is as long as Syndra holds E, LeBlanc can never activate Q with distortion, which means she's going to have to be looking for nice angles with W, not using it aggressively, looking to proc off of chains instead. Be interesting to see as well whether LeBlanc's going to be able to get out of lane with this Syndra push. Should be a lot easier before Syndra gets Q2, but we'll have to see how well the LeBlanc gets piloted, whether he's able to move around the map by openings and stuff, and whether he's able to get things from it, because Syndra will scale, so have
Yeah,
to get us
that's
into the toilet.
definitely what I'm gonna be looking at as well. This keep in mind this LeBlanc pick was very early on as
Yeah.
well. So it was the second pick they took, which means it was counter pick for the side of Gucci Yang.
Mm.
So I feel like the LeBlanc is really gonna have to show up here because you put so much early prio on it. Granted, making plays into a Bard in the bot lane into a Sivir is not the easiest thing in the world. So I would definitely look towards the top lane. If I was him, look towards to potentially get your Kled ahead. Because if your Kled does get a couple of kills in the early game, that matchup is gonna sway so hard to his side. Kled is one of those champions where he can snowball so hard of a couple of early kills, especially into a rumble, where that matchup can be over in a heartbeat.
Yeah, looking at the bot lane as well, as that's the only place we haven't really spoke about just so far. We've got Sivir Bard on the side of Yang, and we've got Seraphine Rel, I'm assuming, from the side of Black Lotus. What do you think, looking at these two, how it's going to go?
I definitely think it's gonna be a safe bot lane coming out from Gucci, and you're looking at a Bard, you're looking at a Sivir. I'll be very interested to see how this Bard is gonna pilot. It is something we saw in the World Semifinals, but not something we see a whole lot in SLE. Of course, it is gonna be Flay down there, definitely.
Plays
Someone
Bard
who
versus carries
has the
Bard. Who do
power.
we think is going to be good?
Yeah. I'll let you answer first, and then I'll give you my 2 cents.
I mean, has Carrier ever won the SLE?
Okay.
I mean, to be fair, actually, I don't think Flay has either, but
Yeah, I was gonna say neither has
he has a
Flay.
better win streak in SLE than Carrier, so.
Okay, true. To be fair, and we all know that SLE is much higher echelon than Worlds is.
Absolutely.
Like the skill level is just
Yeah.
through the roof.
Be interesting to see whether the Bard is going to be able to match roams, look for stuff. The Rel could leave as well, because this Sivir and Seraphine are both going to be looking to scale. I'll be interested to see how that goes. Any other thoughts before we either go to a break or take it straight in?
I think just the main thing is the fact that we are gonna see a passive bot lane. We are just gonna see. I would personally love to see both of these supports just say screw this, because you're looking at a Sivir, you're looking at a Seraphine.
Yeah.
There is some very minimal kill threat coming through, and even if there is a couple, even if there is 1 or 2 kills, the matchup realistically is never gonna change. You're always
Alright.
gonna have Seraphine spamming Q, Sivir spamming Q, and that's just
Yeah.
gonna be that.
Cool. Finally, first blood predictions. Where do you think it's going to be?
First, but top lane.
Top lane.
Definitely top lane. This top lane has been so bloody throughout both of these games. I think it's for sure gonna
Do
be
you
in this
think
top
it's
lane.
coming off the first jungle gank around about between 3 to 4 minutes, or do you reckon it's coming sooner?
I think it's gonna be a Kled solo kill.
Yeah?
I can't give you an exact timer, but I think it's gonna be a Kled solo kill. I'm
Nice.
so here for it.
Cool.
What about you?
I definitely think it's going to be around the top side. I reckon, looking at this, I don't know. I think Jarvan and Graves are going to both be involved somehow. I think maybe Jarvan catches the Graves. No, other way around. I think Graves catches the Jarvan on Scuttle with LeBlanc coming in. Right.
Fair enough. So you're expecting some early aggression coming out of Oxy.
I think that the name of this game is going to be around top side. We see
Fair.
standard setup. Sivir going in towards the bot brush, looking to get a ward. Fairly standard. Kled in the bush up there. Rumble around. I don't know if he's been spotted yet. Savonix on the Jarvan. Standing in that bush. We see Gloomy go in there, looking to get a ward potentially. Distortioning forward as we see him now unable to go back. Got the ward onto blue. Deep in enemy jungle. 10 seconds on distortion, but it's not like there's any CC coming down. Kled's coming in. Helps Kurum get out. Gloomy getting a little cheeky ward there onto the blue. Able to spot that coming in.
I mean, it's a very good play overall coming out from him. Like you said, some early vision is gonna be put down, and that's the advantage of LeBlanc. That's what we discussed in draft as well. Just the added mobility you have on this champion can let you plays like that, which can be very advantageous for your team. So I'm looking at Gloomy, I'm looking at Oxy to be the big difference makers in this early game, and definitely gonna be looking at those two for potential 2v3s, 2v2s, and 3v3s.
Looking like we weren't quite on it with the play here, as we see both junglers starting topside, looking to pave towards bot. Another thing that I've noticed, Dessa, if you could look at Gloomy's runes and items for me real quick.
It's the static shiv.
It's looking like the static shiv AD LeBlanc. Don't know if we'll go static still, as we see a little bit of a trade. Blue taking half health, decent damage. Wave does look to be coming in though, Sivin naturally push him. Rumble going in towards topside as well. Both junglers, around about the same. Both getting on their third camp right now. Nice stun, good damage onto Fabian. As we see lane coming in.
It's gonna be the crush in the top lane, though. I would love to see if Furuzu decides to stay here. Is gonna ward up though. Yeah, Oxy's just gonna head over to the bot side. You can see he's pathing straight to the red buff. He wants to get this invade done. You said he's gonna be fighting Sylvanix early on, and that's exactly what he's looking to do.
This LeBlanc's wave is in as well. This is very much a natural start. We see the Rel coming in already. Seraphine's left there. Graves on this. Everything's pushed in, looking to get the invade on it. Pulling the trigger, going in, but Sylvanix Flag and Dragon out. Nonetheless. Okay, we see the bot lane from Chi side coming in. Black Lotus in a little bit of a tough spot. Chains laning on Syndra. Jarvan going in. Stun onto Fabian. Ignite comes down. First blood onto Sivir. As the play continues, Kanze going in. Nice stun from Rebrief. Oxycoding goes out. Sivir sped up. Looking to go in. Double flash, triple flash coming out as Rebrief picks up the kill onto Graves. Red buff on him. Is Blue out?
Should be completely fine here. Does still have the double stack on its passive as well. Kanze's Ghost end up timing out, so there's gonna be no follow up there. But my prediction entirely wrong. No solo kills in the top lane. Oxy ends up going for the aggressive invade, which we predicted, but ends up biting him in the back. Rebreathe with an early kill. So does Kanze, and that's gonna be the invade gone wrong in the bot side, as we have an engage in the bot lane.
Okay, damage coming in. Flay doing that, but it doesn't look like it's going to be much. Recall's cancelled from the side of Kanze and Flay. Play is over, however, as we see Jarvan down there. Graves on Scuttle. Gloomy quite low on the mid lane with Wave pushed in. CSing looking about right. Jarvan is coming in, going to find the Graves again. Level advantage. Nothing's going to come of it.
Yeah, again, just saw some jungle interaction, this time down towards the bot side. First Dragon gonna be up in about 20 seconds as well. It's gonna be the Infernal Dragon on the cards. TP expended in the mid lane. It's gonna be Gloomy with that one. You can see an early ward as well coming out from Oxy to see if there's any sneaky Dragon starts potential coming out from Sylvanix, but currently he's in the top side looking to cover his top lane, looking to cover Ruzu as he's gonna get that shoved in. You can see all those lane wards coming out of Missing Link. He's just so scared of Sylvanix potentially sneaking into a push, potentially sneaking into a gank, but so far it is all calm before the storm.
Rumble getting a nice deep ward onto the red buff as well, so even if he doesn't see that, he's going to see Graves paving towards topside here. Going to finish his Raptors up. Most likely going to be seen on that ward as he goes over the Krugs, or maybe Graves looking for Scuttle or Jarvan. I was wondering whether he wanted to invade. However, looks like mid lane, they might be trying for a gank. Gloomy going forward, QE coming in, stun, denies that plate. Yeah, as that's just not going to get much. Gloomy trying to get the chain, but Rebrief nicely hitting the E there. You see small trade up top. Recall's coming up from bot. Waves coming in. Gloomy is looking to get a deep ward onto J4's red buff as well, so they will see him on that again.
Does end up getting the ward in though, which is quite good vision control coming out from him, and this is a little bit what we were talking about as well with the LeBlanc into the Syndra. Such a hard champion to gank, even if you do have your jungler around. If we're gonna go for a little bit of
Gloomy
a trade,
going for a nice trade, yeah. Saw that the QE was down, getting some good procs, gets the chain on him. As we see top lane, Kled going in potentially. Waves crashing in, might look to do something there, however. Mid lane, yep. Support coming in from the side of Black Lotus, trying to help crash this wave. As we see a nice QE. Someone's going in with the QE. Gloomy flashing forward, looking for the kill onto Rebrief. Gets it, despite the Cinder Rock coming in. That was really nicely done. So we see Bard coming in. Yep. J4 queuing. Flash forward getting that kill. Flay getting a nice stun. Flag looking and picking up, but doesn't work. Oxyconey going in as well. Nice kill on the 2v2 from the side of Gloomy, but using a lot there. And Savonix and Flay answering back very well. We see him going onto the Raptors.
Oxy does end up getting a little bit of a chunk in, but Kanzai with the push in the bot lane, which means Blue is gonna have to retreat back to his corner, although there is some encroaching.
Gonna go in, Hex Flash going in from the roll very aggressively here, as we see the side of Chi collapsing down onto Savonix with a beautiful looking flag combo for the double kill. As we see Black Lotus again, looking for the evade, looking for the aggressive plays, but not understanding where they are in this game, not understanding their positions, their waves, and getting punished from it from the side of Chi.
Black Lotus Esports again just being punished by the over-aggression. This is what we were talking about with the Graves, wanting to invade the Jaren, but if you don't have the prio for it, if your lanes ain't got the push, it's kind of just a null point, and Sovanix is doing a great job of just nullifying all these invades, nullifying the aggressive plays coming out from Oxyconey and the rest of the Black Lotus squad. And last time we saw them in game 2 have a similar start like this, didn't end up too well for them, so I'm not too hopeful, but we are only 8 minutes into the game, so pretty much anything can still happen, and it is still all in the cards.
Yeah, 5-1 to the side of Yang, looking like a nice 3K lead up here, scoring that first Drake. I gotta say, from the side of Black Lotus, they're playing hard. I'm not sure they're playing smart, which I can't blame them. Down 2-0 in a best of 5 series, everything on the line here. These series are cardio games, you know. I'm sure for a lot of these guys, this might be the first best of 5 they've played. There's definitely something to be said for fatigue wearing in.
Yeah, definitely. So especially when you're down by 2 games already. It's series point and it's match point for you, and you have to win the next game to be able to move forward. It is without a doubt a tough situation to be in if you are the side of Black Lotus Esports, and you can see they've gone with an entirely different draft as well, just because it hasn't really been working out for them. Could look for potential top lane play, but as well as Fabian being up here, this is gonna be a 3v1 if they can pull it off, but looks like this is gonna be a back from Ruse, who does have the TP up if he does need to expend it, but with the wave pushed in, should be completely fine. Can look for the Herald here though.
Yeah, ping's coming out, looking to get deep vision onto this. See the blue buffs up. Fabian in here, looking to get eyes on Jarvan and find him. As we see the Herald started up from the side of Black Lotus. Waves coming in. However, this is 4 people up here. Bard is coming in. They've been spotted on the Scryers now, as it's down to 2.5k on the Herald. We see Gloomy getting QE'd, but getting a nice chain, looking to stop it up. As they come in, Rumble ult coming on top of 2. Doesn't really get it, but we see Fabian left to the walls here. Looks like a secure on the Herald from the side of Black Lotus, but trading 1-0 as Flay looking to keep going.
Flay
looking to get that.
Keep going, but he's just not gonna find anything. And it is a Herald 4-1, but I feel like it is a 1 with the oh, hold on.
You see Flag and Drag, QE looking to come in, but Gloomy going back to his distortion, nothing gonna come from it. I reckon if that QE hit from the side of Syndra, J4 could have gone in.
Yeah, definitely
could have been enough damage.
Definitely could have done something there, but so far, seeing Oxy being all too early game on the Graves, not what you want to see. Herald ended up being picked up by some Black Lotus Esports, and they only lost a rel, which I feel like when you're this behind is definitely worth it.
J4 going in with the Flag and Drag down there as we see a fight starting to break up, looking for the trade, smites it away. See Gloomy looking to go away, QE, ult damage. Flashes over the wall, but Savonix follows with the Flag and Drag, looking to go even further. Kante ulting in, flashing forward aggressively, picking up Oxyconey. So we see Fabian stuck 1v4, slow as all hell, gonna be picked up again. Gloomy coming in. It's just 1-for-1 each time. The side of Black Lotus are getting picked off every single time, not being on the same wave as Chi are always 4 or 5 members strong every single play. It's beginning to be overwhelming for the side of Black Lotus.
Yeah, definitely. So they are just looking to take this game, but so far they haven't been able to do that. And yeah, the side of Guqiang playing beautifully on the same page, definitely having the same mindset heading on into this game. And so far, we are starting to see the first items of the game coming on. So you can see Kanze, Sovanix, and Gloomy getting their eyes onto the first item. And this is where Gloomy can really start looking for this room. Static shift finished means you're gonna clear that wave in all of 2 autos and 1 distortion, which gives you so much access around the map and gives you the ability to join these fights way before Rebreathe is gonna be there.
Hopefully, he'll be able to do something. We see a big trade going on to Rebreathe, though. Flashing forward aggressively. Oh, almost picking him up with the Luden's procs. Gloomy having a back already. Syndra coming in, showing that the burst damage from Syndra is going to be doing a little bit more than the static shift damage here. See Play and Fabian find themselves. Syndra QE coming again. The side of Black Lotus are not respecting the Syndra QE damage. Just in general, Rebreathe, he's got complete control of mid. He's drawing so many people. Whew.
I mean, not only that, but look at the XP as well. Rebreathe level 10 on the Syndra. Gloomy level 9, Oxy level 7. So definitely a lot of stats to back up what has been so far good.
Hey. Yeah, and QE onto 2 people again. Oxycoding going out. Ulting forward, stuck with Rel in there, and yeah. Savonix is just everywhere, every single thing that Black Lotus try and do, he's there. 505, 500 gold shot down here. Looking to start up the Drake, pick up his second one of the game. I will say this, we've spoken about how Black Lotus could be feeling the effects going to be down here. We're not talking about the fact that Chi are picking up the momentum. These guys are playing with subs. Savonix on a role that isn't his main role as well. I don't know if these guys have played together. I feel like we're starting to see them really settle into their roles and figure each other out. Definitely coming into their own with the synergy here. As we see an ult almost hitting 2, going onto the Seraphine. J4, EQ, flag, and drag flash forward. Looking to pick up this kill onto Seraphine. Almost trades for Savonix, but yeah, it's looking pretty doomed. As we see a Herald, I believe, going down onto top side. Oxycoding looking to pick this up. Probably going to get their first turret. Is it first turret of the game? Or...
Should be.
Yeah, picking up first turret of the game, getting him bounty. Getting it just before bot lane got theirs, which is nice, but...
Yeah, definitely nice for them. Of course, the bounty ends up coming through as well, which is just that extra added bit of gold. But even with the bounty, you are looking at a 4,000 gold deficit for them at the moment. 11-1, and look at where those kills are. They are all on Sovanix as well. The jungler means that he can pretty much spread that lead all over the map instead of it just staying in one stagnant place. Gloomy so far hasn't really had the impact on the LeBlanc as I would have liked to see, but Rebreathe just slowly farming in the mid lane, 2-1-5 already, and this Gucci squad in the third game I feel like have been on fire so far.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, looking at Gloomy's build, it got nerfed so heavily, it's hard to say that he's going the right one. Potentially for what they want to do, looking for the side lanes, 1-3-1. Rebreathe looking for the stun, doesn't really get it. Gloomy going forward, looking for a trade, misses his abilities as well. That trade will go out. Savonix down here. Might look to go in. Flag and Rag getting over the wall, but spotted by the control ward. Still looking to get complete control in this bot side for the side of Chi. Drake not for 3 minutes. Baron not for 4.
Yeah, definitely some big objectives coming on up. Rift Herald is going to be spawning right about now though, so definitely still some objectives around the map to fight for. Gloomy again. Such a hard champion to catch this LeBlanc in a side lane with the distortion being up, so Sovanix tried his best to make sure they got that kill on through, but ends up not falling this time around. Herald now gonna be on the map, gonna be on the cards, and Oxy on the bot side of the map means that they should go over to the side of Gucci for free. Itchy, where do you expect this Herald pressure to be over at? Where do you expect the priority for this Herald to be? In which lane it's gonna be placed in?
I think that they've been trying to get mid lane down quite a lot. However, there's definitely merit to putting it top, getting Rumble out there so we can run mid, look for a play that way. Looking like they're going to invade on top side. Yeah, probably looking to get this down onto mid, break that open. We see inside of
Definitely
Chi.
can do. You can see he's hovering towards the mid lane though. Definitely looking to take this tower. Could just pop the Herald right here to secure this one for themselves. Is going to do just that. So Herald popped in the mid lane. Blue is trying his best to clear the way, but not gonna be enough. And mid lane tower is gonna fall. And this is scary because it's gonna open the map so much for Sylvanix, who's already ahead.
Yeah, we see Kled, however, has been split pushing in top all this time, getting a lot of damage down here. Looking to walk away, but Rusu doesn't seem like he wants to let him go. Getting the Kled ult, backing out. Not bad. So, looking at these comps, looking at what they're going to do, I think it's hard, right? But split pushing, not really committing to fights map. As we see J4 going in, blowing the flash from Seraphine, getting a 2-man ult. Cataclysm comes in, doesn't matter. As we see the side of Chi picking up heal for their troubles again.
Yeah, we have been saying that so far in this game, Black Lotus not showing up like they needed to show up. Oxy so far 0-on-4, but first game of the day ended up lasting 44 minutes, ended up being a comeback for the side of Yang, so definitely not over quite
Cled's
yet.
passive already procced. He's going back, looking to get the remount. However, 3 people here. I'm not sure that he's going to flash. J4 flag and drag coming out as we see Kled taking the blast cone, getting out of there. Quite a few things committed, however, not going to pick up the Kled. Missing Link going to get away. Lumix on the side here. We see Seraphine coming in. We have a Drake coming in 15 seconds. No one's there yet. We see Graves up top. Potentially looking to cross map off of this Drake play. Looking to leave it down there. Teleport coming in. He is moving up. Potentially looking to go on Ruzu here. Still has flash, still has ult. Rumbles love these 1v2s. He's looking to get the ult off on the Oxycone. Just turning on him straight away. Popping that. Ruzu, Oxycone doing everything he can to get out. Ruzu picking up the 1 in the 1v2. Oxycone getting punished for going too early as Missing Link picks him up 1-for-1 in a 1v2 up here. And Chi are going to pick up the Drake as well.
So much damage coming out from Ruzu in that situation. Ends up getting a kill for himself. Oxy stepping a little bit too far. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Blue ends up falling Rebreathe with the ultimate 315 on the Syndra. Shadowflame plus the Ludens Tempest combo already picked up. Missing Link is going to continue split pushing, but this split push isn't
TP from Syndra coming out onto this LeBlanc over here. Looking to recall, but that's going to get cancelled by Savant. Popping back to the Distortion, Flag and Drag coming over, getting knocked up into the QE from the Syndra, popping passive, but he's okay, that's the clone. Yep, Savonix picking him up. I will say, despite how, as we see Oxycone almost going down Fabian in the 1v2, Teleport coming in, however, the bot lane from Chi are just 2 health bars blinking as we see Missing Link coming in, Seraphine ult coming in, Flay dodging that with the ult, Rumble just dismissing this. Yeah, this is bloodthirsty a little bit.
Definitely. So of course Encore only ends up hitting Ruzu, and Ruzu is, I wouldn't say he's quite tanky at the moment, but the side of Black Lotus Esports are just so far behind that there isn't really that much damage coming out from them quite yet. They need Blue to scale, they need the Seraphine head-to-head into the later stages of the game. Interestingly enough, so far no tier picked up for Blue, which does mean that the tier stacking is gonna get subsided a little bit. I would expect for him to pick it up rather sooner than later. I'm surprised he hasn't picked it up quite yet, but Baron is gonna be on the cards now, 20 minutes and 50 seconds into this game, and definitely Guqiang looking to end this series in a dominating fashion compared to how the first 2 games did, and went pretty even, but this one definitely leaning towards Guqiang with the 5,000 gold lead.
Yeah, as we see Gloomy on the side here, 2 people up here, the bot lane of Chi looking to contest. Rel getting the stun to Flay. Flay just clearing out wards. Fabian just standing there, being sad about it. Looking at the vision. Let's see Gloomy going forward. Looking at the vision from the side of Chi. They've got decent wards there. looking where they are, it's looking like they're going to start setting up for Baron. Kled maybe looking down here for... Just going to walk away. 3 members strong up top for Black Lotus. Potentially looking to go on the bot lane here when they overextend. Walking around now as we see Oxycoding going that way. Rel coming in. Spell Shield already procs. Ult going out. Bard ult coming in. LeBlanc, 2-man stun onto Fabian. LeBlanc going forward, getting the chains off. As Savonix is here, he's looking to do damage. The Cataclysm comes in. Flash is blown from the side of Black Lotus. Fabian flipping him over. Flag and Dragon out as we see Black Lotus potentially turning this fight. However, Rebrieve's here, looking to get the kill. Oxycoding doing a lot. Flag and Drag coming in. Rebrieve with the ult onto Seraphine, killing him. Gloomy, Flay, flashing forward aggressively, getting the stun. Rebrieve flashing forward. Flag and Drag coming in. The solo laner and the jungler from the side of Chi just picking this up. 4 for 1 on the side of Chi as we see just how strong this Chi side is. 19-3.
And I mean, Rebreathe making such a difference in this fight, right? It's completely a 100-0 onto blue. Sovanic is doing a great job of burning so many of these cooldowns, but look at the Seraphine. Rebreathe comes in, presses R, he goes pop like a balloon and just absolutely blows up. And after that, there is no damage left. So many of the cooldowns burned on Sovanic. The juice just runs out. Fabian under tower. The lone survivor ends up just getting completely taken out. And like you said, 4 for 1. Luckily, there is no Baron picked up for the side of Gucciang, which means it is still on the cards. And Black Lotus Esports can still look to fight it. But Ryla is going to be finished up for blue as well. So this Seraphine is slowly but surely scaling on it.
Yeah, as we see Gloomy up top here. We got Drake spawning in a minute. Soul point for the side of Yang, looking with his Cloud Soul. Baron is up. We see Flay up towards the top side here. Potentially looking to get some wards down to stop a Baron trade or set up for Baron. Rebrieve looking for a stun in the mid lane, doesn't get it. Hits the W onto Rel. We see the side of Chi walking towards top side, looking to get this scuttle.
Looking to get the scuttle and looking to get any topside vision they can. Of course, it is all about controlling the river. Whoever controls the vision has so much more information, so much more objectives to play around. And Fabian walking is gonna get 1 ward down, but I don't expect that ward to last too long for him, as you can already see the side of Gucci, and they have very thematically cleared out most of the wards on this side already. But you can see as well, Missing Link, Hullbreaker in his inventory continuing to be that split push threat, and Ruzu, I'm pretty sure, does beat him out in the 1v1, although the Hexdrinker might make a difference. But Baron, the big worm, the big objective on the top side of the map, Oxy now looking for a potential Blast Cone into play.
Yeah, as we see Oxycoding down here on the Blast Cone. However, Savonix coming in. Knows he hasn't been spotted because of the Control Ward. Taking the Blast Cone out himself to get rid of that. So we see setting up from the side as Savonix flagging rags in. The side of Chi starting this Baron already. Flay clearing out the ward. Black Lotus looking to come in. Side of Chi potentially looking to turn.
I don't think there's gonna be any TPs here. You can see both top laners battling it out.
Both holding their TPs, potentially looking. Kled might come in as we see a stun coming onto Fabi, getting flag and drag. Seraphine ult coming in, but he's just deleted as we see Cataclysm coming down. Seraphine flashed out. 2-man ult from the Bard. Oxycoding going down, instantly popped by Rebreathe. Savonix picking up the Seraphine, finishing the job. Flay over here onto Gloomy, distorting back. Savonix going deep, but not being able to get him. Gloomy definitely doing some distractions here. Wing over, yep, but Kanze is going to pick him up as we see 4 for nothing from the side of Chi. Rebrieve pushing in. Savonix, Kanze starting up the Baron. Yeah.
I mean, looking at the
huge stun there, man.
as well. Huge, talk about huge. Look at this Bardol.
Yeah.
The 2 members. Gloomy gets up by the skin of his teeth just because of the distortion. We do have a charge in the mid lane, but there's no action as Flay ends up just walking out. Baron started once again for the side of Gucciang, but I feel like this time around they might be hell up
doing it the entire time
to finish this one off. Gonna be picked up, and with this Baron, Sovereign Itchy, I like to believe, I'm a firm believer, but I feel like I don't have enough Copium and Hopium to keep Black Lotus Esports alive in this, and it'd take a miracle, and it'd be very hard for them to come back.
Yeah, if you're looking for some hopium for the side of Black Lotus, I am the wrong crowd on this one. Maybe if they play side lanes, they might be able to do something, a potential backdoor if the side of Chi overextend. Chi, Rebrieve looking for a stun, Flay walking up aggressively, posturing. Ruzu with his overheat, getting an E on there. Gloomy coming over. You see Rel going in. Rumble ult instantly dropping onto the Seraphine. Seraphine ult looks but misses. Gloomy going forward, going for that. As we see Oxyconey flashing over, stealing it. However, his entire team is dying to the side of Chi. Ult from Syndra comes in, blows Oxyconey up. The only person left alive, sorry, 2 people left alive. Gloomy with flashing health bars. Kled picking stuff up on the side lane. 2 people resetting from the side of Chi, looking to go in here. Stopping Missing Link from going any further, but we see a Baroned up Chi pushing mid and bot.
Should be double inhib towers here, potential double inhibs for their side. You can see Kanze with the wave player manages to push in that bot lane. Can potentially look for the end as well. There's 10 seconds on blue, but I feel like they are just gonna think better of it. Are just gonna opt out after this.
Chasing this Kled so he couldn't recall. As we see Kled coming in. Oh, looking to recall now. Yep, they are looking to do it. TP coming in from the Rumble. Looking to end this game here. Looking for a 3-0 as we see Fabian getting a stun. Nice stun onto Flay. Oh my god, the damage from Rebrief. Blue just dropping to the minions right there. Missing Link going in. Ruzu got the chains. As we see the team fight coming in, and Chi are just destroying them. Syndra ult coming in. Doesn't even matter right at the end there. Baroned up minions coming in. Chi looking to make this a 3-0.
The wallets end up being too damn big. 14,000 gold in it. Gucci Yang end up kicking Black Lotus Esports out, end up eliminating them with a determining Game 3 and a dominating victory in our last game of the series. And Ichi, I'm sad that you weren't here for those last 2 games, because this was a bit of a bummer compared to those.
Well, it was nice to see Chi pick up the steam right there as well. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do going forward. Be interesting to see how it changes depending on their rosters as well, if they can get their jungler and stuff. Savonix, however, doing a ton of work there, especially getting more into his element by that 3rd game. Just between him and Rebrief, and honestly Flay as well, with a lot. Every single person on Chi performed, but especially those 3 players were just hitting. It was just a montage moment for them this entire 3rd game. So.
Yeah, definitely a clean game coming out of them. Of course, that does mean Guqiang is going to progress, and it means it is going to be Guqiang versus either the Blazing Pandas or Solaris Ares. But we are going to cut into a short little break while we are going to set up our winners interview. We're not entirely sure quite yet which one of the Gucci boys we're going to get to come in, but it is definitely going to be one of them. Ichi, you got any final words before we head on to our break?
Just it was a pleasure to have Black Lotus here, and yeah.
Definitely. So again, Black Lotus gonna be eliminated, unfortunately, but we'll see you guys soon. We're gonna be right back. Don't go anywhere. We are gonna talk to the winner on the other side. Welcome back, everybody, from the break. We finally have the winner's interview at our hands, and it is the one, the only Sovanix from the Gucci Yang squad gonna be joining us for the interview today. Sovanix, how are you feeling, my friend?
Feeling good. I was can't lie, I was genuinely a bit nervous for the first time before these games, playing off-roll. It was my first like actual competitive games on jungle, so was nervous, but I'm happy it worked out in the end.
Yeah, speaking of that, first question coming into this. So, like, how fucking easy is jungle, dude?
I think it's not easy, to be honest, because I think for example, the first game, our communication with we had a autofill support as well. Communication in that sense was a bit difficult, and I think when the comms were quiet in game one, it was really hard to pull the strings. But game two, game three, the team was a lot more active. We got Flay today back into the team, and at that point it was a lot easier. So it's like I think without the help of the boys, I'm very proud of their performance today. But without the help of them, I think it probably doesn't go like this. But yeah,
Nice. So, yeah, I mean, okay, next question then. Looking at that 3-0 right here, you played 3 games. Is this first time that you've played jungle for them? I'm assuming.
well, I've filled in one scrim, but that was ages ago.
Sure.
But yeah, often I don't do too much playing with these boys. This was just the first time I stepped in, and yeah, it was fun. It was exciting, and I like again. I don't want to repeat myself, but I have to give a shout out to the entire roster and the entire team for adapting to playing with a new jungler, because I've got a completely different like playstyle or way of playing to like I'm sure most junglers, because I'm not a jungler. So
yeah. Nice. Looking at that, then 3-0. It seemed like you guys were getting better every single game that you got it. Looking into that, was that 30-3 stomp at the end there? How do you guys? How did it feel in the team as it went along? Did you feel like you settled into it? Did you feel like you came together? What was the atmosphere like? How did it feel? Everyone was sort of what was the atmosphere like?
It was actually really positive, and I think I can give some insight. I think one criticism I've always had of this team is sometimes the environment can get a little bit hostile at times, even if they are winning. And I just laid the ground rules before the series started. I said we're not gonna have a bad environment. We're just gonna listen to each other. We're gonna trust each other. That's the only way we're gonna win this. Like I don't mean this role. That was my mindset. Like I'm gonna cause some stuff. It might not make sense, but just trust me. And then this, like for example, this Graves invade, this game, which kind of like snowballed us out of control. I predicted that Graves would just turn up at my red buff, which is why I started bot to top. Like usually when you pick Jarvan Rumble, you want to path towards the Rumble, but I knew Graves would invade on my bot side, so I was like, set up the defense. I didn't switch to sweeper because I knew I needed the ward to spot the Graves out in the bush. So yeah, when we saw him, my team was responsive instantly, and yeah, that's like stuff like that is. I'm glad that they were willing to listen to someone who's like auto-filling.
Yeah, the collapses from your team were really good, and especially it's interesting you touch on that because it felt like you just had Graves' number. I was watching that game, obviously, and every single play that they tried to make, you guys were just there already. Like I saw you dropping camps to always be on the same side of the map. It was completely mirroring the Graves, so congratulations on that, especially for off-rolling, dude.
Thank you.
Is there any questions you have, Dessa?
Yeah, I would love a couple of questions, just some insight. But you did mention a little bit earlier that you were sort of the one making the calls, that you were the guiding voice for your team. Would you say this is true, or was it someone else that was shot calling, or maybe the entire team who was making the calls?
I would say I was the main caller, but I really brought out like I wanted to make sure everyone had a say and had a voice in our decisions. So it wasn't necessarily hard calls. It was more so soft instructions with some leniency and some fluidity which allowed any players, if they saw a certain angle, to go for a play. Like for example, I'm like, what example? I'll be like, I'm gonna clear from Grump to here. and we're going to play on Crab, and we're going to kill them if they walk through choke, which meant, if Flay interprets that and he's like, okay, they walk through choke, I'm not necessarily going like Bard ult instantly. He can have the freedom to think portal in or Bard ultimate. It's just I don't know, I guess allowing the strengths of play, like not having forced instructions on players and giving them freedom, but at least giving them a rough guideline on it.
Not micromanaging, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
It is definitely good to hear.
Sorry.
It is definitely good to hear that you guys sort of did play together as a team, and there was definitely some couple of good Bardles in there. Ichi, did you have something you wanted to?
No, unless there's anything you want to say, I was thinking any parting words, any final words from Sonics?
Yeah, I want to say like really good job to the team, to the boys. I'm very, very, very proud of the way they played today. And I also want to touch on the environment of how it felt like playing with them, and I hope for them they realize that this level of positivity in the game and having fun with each other, it's what they need to move forward. And if I know they plan on reaching finals, that's their goal. If they want to get there, they need to keep up this sort of mentality of just trusting each other and backing each other. And also really well done to Black Lotus for making it this far, to making it to playoffs. And I really respect their players. Like personally, it's sad to see players like Missing Link, who I think it was really good to go out this early on in the tournament. But yeah, great job to them. And I had something else. I forgot. Yeah.
Nice.
That's fine. Speaking of the finals, quick question. Blazing Pandas versus Solaris Ares. That's gonna be the matchup that determines who you guys are gonna play. Give us your predictions on how you think that series is gonna end. Who do you think you're more likely to face?
So I think Sonaris Ennis is looking like the underdog in this matchup. But Raging Fanders, I think they've got this hot streak, and they're definitely the favorites. But I do think that there are angles that Raging Fanders can get exploited on. But I mean, I don't want to give up too much. Like that's spoilers.
Final predictions on the score. What do you reckon?
I think it'll be a 3-0. I think there's just too much firepower. I think Jonathan Isaac is just too good of a jungler. His read on the game is like, if we're talking about junglers in SLE, he's the name probably in the mix of like Dutch, Obsidian, and all that, right? So I think like if jungler can control the game here, then Blazing Pandas will. Oh, damn, I said their name correctly. Anyway, they'll take the win. Wait, actually, I remember what I was gonna say. I want to shout out a certain player on my team because I think there's a lot of chat about who's improving a lot. I want to shout out. There's a lot of chat on who's improving a lot, who has come a long way, and people are saying, like it more, blah, blah, blah. Don't get me wrong. Fantastic players, these guys that are being shouted out. But I think Rebreathe deserves some focus. He deserves some praise. If you look at his first game versus what he is now, I think it's easy to see that he hasn't improved, right? Because he's still not pushing at that top tier mid laner. But I think today, what you guys saw is like he's come such a long way. The guy is 17 years old. The future is bright for him. If he keeps going like this, everyone will start being scared of this guy because he played so good today, and I'm so proud of him. And I hope he can really show his stuff moving forward.
Nice.
It is good to hear that there is a lot of positive vibes from what you described. It does sound like a really positive and a good environment, at least when the way you described it from today and overall from the team. But you got any final words before we kick you out and end the stream here?
No. Well, I guess you could say good luck to Gucci Yang as they progress through their playoffs, and I hope they do their best. Thanks for casting. Thanks, Pepper. You goat. Yeah. Thanks. That's it.
Good to hear that we do get some appreciation, and yeah, of course, congratulations to you guys for the win. It is sad to see Black Lotus Esports go. No, that wasn't this goal their time around, but like I said, I am gonna close this off for today. Ichu, do you have any final words for the day?
Just it's been a pleasure.
Definitely has been. Of course, thank you to everyone who was watching. Thank you to Sandbag as well, who joined me
Yeah.
earlier today. Thank you to Itchy for joining me in this last game of the day. Unfortunately, no 5 games, which means you only got the one in, but it was a goodie. Of course, depending on where you're watching this from, have a good day, have a good night, and we're gonna catch you later today, as we're gonna have another series in about half an hour. So definitely gonna fire up the stream again later. But for now, we're gonna wish you goodbye.